very small. But
No, I don't agree with you at all. 730 quid. I'd
I
take
would.
your hand off for it.
I would take your two hands off and
I would.
massage
I
your
mean,
foot for it.
730 quid's a lot of money.
Sure is.
Do you know? It really is a lot of money.
Everybody could be doing with it.
Yeah, and a grand's a lot of money too.
Yeah. So
The more ways to win, the better. It's not a competition, Lee.
What do you mean?
Well, you're sort of putting your own competition down because of the competition on my program. Don't
No,
do
I
that.
would. I would never put that down. I enjoyed the crack with that
Yeah.
Secret Sound.
What was I going to say to you was the €1,000. Yeah, tickets are available this morning. It's the last couple of hours where you can get into all 11 draws, but I'll mention that. When I
yeah,
kick
but sure,
off the show.
if you were had in your head that you're going to buy a ticket, sure, you might as well get in for the first draw. Do you know?
Yeah,
So just
I'd like the car too.
you don't need a car.
Oh, I do.
No,
yeah,
get
I
out.
do.
What do you need the car for?
My
you take the
09
money.
Nissan's kind of getting a bit rattly now.
I haven't seen you drive that for a long time. I don't think it would go to the distance, would it? It would
No,
never.
it would, but it's just I need to
What?
get a 13 or something.
She's probably too thirsty on the juice, is she?
Well, she's
Diesel,
due
is
to
it?
be taxed, and it's
Much is
$7.50.
$7.50
Yeah.
for the tax.
And I have the poor man's penalty as well. You see.
What's the poor man's penalty?
Well, if you pay for it in 3 or 6 months, you have to pay more for your tax to the government. You see.
Oh, that's not so good.
Yeah,
You get a WhatsApp on your phone, did you? On your watch?
I did.
It's 9 o'clock news now. Come on, get on with the
Have
show.
a great day.
You can have a good day
Look
too.
after you. I got
Who
slightly
texts you this?
distracted.
Who texts you that there?
John Watson.
What? All right. What's he saying?
I'm trying to get a generator off.
What do you want a generator for? Just
What do you want a
jumpstart?
generator for? I don't know. To massage myself.
Right. That leaves a lot to the imagination.
What do you
Is
think I would need a generator for? Think.
In case the electricity goes
Good
off.
man, you're clever.
God, I could. Did you do you a good deal? What kind of deal did I get?
I'm working on that.
Right. John Watson, if you listen, come on, give us the numbers, crunch the numbers, share the wealth.
He's going to have to trim a bit more off, a bit
All
more
right.
fat off.
Actually, do you know the number then? Right then, we'll talk to you tomorrow, Greg.
All right,
Hughes.
then I'll tell you how good a deal I got.
You better. Come on, John Watson, we've got a big plug there now.
All right, it's 9 o'clock. Thanks very much, Lee. It is 9 o'clock. Time for news update. Let's go over to Donna Marie Doherty. Good morning, Donna Marie.
It's Katie. Thanks, Greg.
Katie,
Good morning.
What are you doing? I thought that was Donna Marie. How are you? You're blocked. Sorry, I can't see you.
I know. Yeah, I'm good. How are
Katie
you?
Gillen, good morning to you. It's 9 o'clock. Over to Katie.
Thanks, Greg. Good morning. A band driver has been charged to court after Gardaí in Letterkenny found him to be 9 times over the legal alcohol limit. They had been apprehended on Saturday night after they left the scene of a collision involving another vehicle in Letterkenny. The driver, who was already disqualified from driving, was then arrested on suspicion of drink driving, having failed a roadside breath test, with further breath testing showing that the driver was 9 times over the legal limit. The car was seized and the owner must now apply to the judge of the district court to get it back. They've been charged and a court appearance will now follow. A murder investigation is continuing after a woman and child were killed in an arson attack in County Offaly on Saturday night. 6-year-old Mary Holt and 4-year-old Tyke Farrell died after a fire was started deliberately at a house in Eden Derry, while another woman in her 50s was seriously injured. Gardaí are describing the attack as a reckless, callous and murderous act. Justice Minister Jim O'Callaghan says those responsible for the attack will be brought to justice.
It's clearly the case that this was an attack that was designed to kill the inhabitant. And obviously I want to extend my condolences to the family concerned. I wish the woman who's in hospital a speedy recovery. But I also want them to know and the public to know that the Gardaí will relentlessly pursue the violent and dangerous criminals who are responsible for this murderous attack. They'll be brought to justice.
Life expectancy is higher here than in Northern Ireland. It's one of the findings of the ESRI's first Shared Ireland Economic Survey for the island of Ireland. The report compares both economies in a bid to boost collaboration and maximise economic development in the years ahead. Co-author of the report, Dr. Adele Bergen, says life expectancy has been increasing over the past 20 years for Ireland and Northern Ireland, but not at the same rate.
In Ireland, it has outpaced Northern Ireland in terms of life expectancy since the mid-2000s, and the gap has been widening over time. So that in 2022, life expectancy for men in Ireland was around 2 years higher than in Northern Ireland, and for women, the gap was around 1.5 years.
There have been calls for Donegal County Council to take action to curb speed on the Causeway Road, known locally as the Cassie Road. A long-awaited 3-school campus is being built in the area. Councillor Jack Murray says an active travel scheme will be needed to ensure student safety. He told officials at a recent municipal district meeting that works to curb speed now would help pave the way for that to happen.
They've taken on to look at everything, to report back to me, and hopefully we'll be seeing good news. Because again, look, we can't wait until it's too late, and it'll not be money that's wasted. Well, we could be putting in crossings, junctions there, because we have to do it in anticipation of a very, very large school going into that area. So this is money that's going to be spent anyway. So I think it's beneficial to do it in advance of the school.
And now for the weather, a mix of scattered showers and sunny spells today. More persistent cloud will build from the south later in the day, with high temperatures of 8 to 10 degrees. That's all from the newsroom for now. We'll be back with another update and the obituary notices at 10 o'clock.
Thank you very much, Katie.
With 3 5G home broadband, you can get reliable, high-speed broadband without the steep price. From just €20 a month for up to 12 months. Sign up now in store or at 3.ie. From €39 a month thereafter, subject to coverage, minimum term, direct debit and annual price increase. 5G subject to location, availability and device. Speeds may vary. See 3.ie.
And now, it's time for the talk of the Northwest. The 9 to Noon Show with Greg Hughes on Highland Radio.
Hello, good morning, and you're very welcome along to the 9 till noon show. 4 minutes past 9 on a brand new week of the programme, Monday the 8th of December 2025. How are you all keeping? I do hope you are very well indeed, and I hope you had a nice weekend, whether you were able to relax or indeed if you were working. Hopefully it wasn't too tough on you. I'm looking out the window here at the mountaintop in Letterkenny, and it is calm, but we do know between tonight and tomorrow a yellow wind warning and rain, and apparently we're going to get the worst of it up here. So it's going to be a Midlinall storm, not to overplaying it, but certainly not something to be ignored at this stage. But we'll keep you up to date with that, of course, here on Highland Radio right across the day. As Lee Gooch mentioned there, we have €1,000 to give away today. It's really the beginning of the giveaways as part of the Highland Radio Christmas car draw. As you would know, we've got a most beautiful car. Let me get the dates for you. We've got the most beautiful car to give away just before Christmas on this programme. And it is that Renault Symbioz worth over €35,000. I have to pass it every day, or at least I did last week, sitting outside Highland Motors across the road from us here, and it really is a very pretty car on the outside, and it's full of tech on the inside. So we've got the car worth over 35 grand to give away, and starting today we've got 10 prizes of €1,000. So listen, I'm just letting you know, in case you're going to enter and you don't want to miss out, you need to get in now over the next hour or so to ensure that you're in all of those 11 draws. It's €15 for one ticket, and you can get 5 for 50. So they're a tenner effectively per ticket. You can put them in individual names if you like, or put them all in your name. So the tickets, as I mentioned, €15 for one, 50 for 5, and the big draws start today. €1,000 today. So €10,000, and then the big one, the car, 35 grand plus, of a beautiful, fully spec'd out Renault Symbioz worth over, as I mentioned, €35,000. You can get your tickets right now if you wish. You can go on to our website, highlandradio.com. Your tickets emailed to you. If you want to give us a call at the station here, you can as well, 07491 25000, and we can sort that out for you, 07491 25000. Or if you want to call in, if you deal in cash and cash only, and that's the way you want to do it, or it's more convenient for you, you can call in here during office hours. But as I say, the reason why it's important this morning is we've got this less than 2 hour window for you to get your tickets. Highlandradio.com, or call us on 07491 25000, and then you will be in all 11 draws. So there you are. That's completely up to you. And of course, as always, only play if you can afford to have a bit of fun with your hard-earned cash. 15 for one ticket, 5 for 50. Highlandradio.com or 07491 25000. We'll try and get everyone in the draw that calls, or obviously the internet's the easiest way to do it because it's all automated. But if you have to call, try and do it early, because we want to make sure that every person that wants a ticket can get a ticket. Let's have a look at the papers. Ramelton honours Monsignor's 50 years in the priesthood. This is the Derry People Donegal News. It was an evening of celebration and nostalgia in Ramelton on Friday, as the community gathered to celebrate Monsignor J. Anthony McDade's Golden Jubilee in the priesthood. St. Mary's Church was filled with family members, friends and parishioners, and they were joined by Diocesan Administrator Monsignor Kevin Gillespie, Meva Parish Priest, the Very Reverend Patrick Dunn, and Ramelton Parish Priest, the Very Reverend Michael Carney, for a special Mass to mark the occasion. The Derry News is out today as well. PPS soldier, a prosecution decision today. The PPS, the Northern Irish equivalent of the DPP. A Derry family will find out this morning if the British soldier who shot dead their uncle will face prosecution. Billy McGreenery, 41, was shot by a member of the 1st Battalion Grenadier Guards at the junction of Eastway, Lonemore Road and Westland Street in Derry on the evening of September 14th, 1971. He underwent surgery at Altnagelvin Hospital but died in the early hours of September 15th. In September past, on the 54th anniversary of McGreenery's murder, his nephew and namesake Billy McGreenery said in May 2024, the Public Prosecution Service had undertaken what was supposed to be a 6 weeks review into its decision not to prosecute Soldier A, who admitted killing Mr. McGreenery. Much more on that, of course, on the front of and inside that paper. On to the Nationals now, and a horrific story from down the country in the Irish Times and in all the papers. Gardaí have launched a double murder investigation after a young boy and his great aunt were killed in a suspected petrol bomb attack on a house in County Offaly on Saturday. The victims were named locally last night and by the Gardaí as Tig Farrell, just 4, and Mary Holt, 60. Another woman who is in her 50s was in critical condition in hospital, having suffered extensive burns in the blaze at Castleview Park, Eden Derry. It's understood she is Miss Holt's sister and the deceased boy's grandmother. Gardaí believe a petrol bomb or similar was thrown into the house on Castleview Park in the town just before 7:45 p.m. The fire engulfed the end of terrace property in a local authority estate. It appears the deceased were trapped in a downstairs room as a result of the fire. Absolutely horrific, and our sympathies to the deceased, of course, their families and friends and the wider community. Gardaí continued to investigate that, but you know, it put me in mind instantly as I was hearing that story of that warning of people attacking people's houses. We would hear them regularly on Community Garda information, and I'm not in any way equating what happened here with those instances, don't get me wrong, but we heard recently of newspapers being lit in newspapers being lit in a letterbox. We've had fireworks put in through people's doors. There's accelerant have been squirted in through petrol boxes and lighters thrown, and this is precisely what could have been the net result of those types of activities. Stones being thrown through windows, potentially, you know, hitting a kid in a cot or something that could be sleeping in that space. You know, hopefully whoever is responsible for these types of attacks, and for whatever reason they are, desist, because this is exactly the type of outcome that there could be. Whether it's intentional or not, it doesn't matter. These people, I imagine, will be caught because every Garda resource will be thrown at it, and they will face the full rigours of the law, and they will have the 4-year-old life of Tig and his great aunt Mary on their conscience forever. No Irish Independent today, so on to the Irish Daily Mail. And there's a higher employment rate and lifespan in the Republic than there is in Northern Ireland. And there's no details of this in this newspaper, but they've split it up in terms of 2 jurisdictions, right? The 6 counties and the 26 counties. That being said, I feel that we in the Northwest here generally, be it Derry, Tyrone or Donegal, have similar experiences. So whilst they're talking about the situation in the Republic versus the North, I think we can probably group ourselves in the North statistically, if you know what I mean, with some of the key indicators. And the averages from further down the county sort of cancel out our reality, if that makes sense. Well, the Republic has higher employment rates, longer life expectancy, and a faster growing population compared to the North, a new report has found. This is the first in a series of annual reports by the Economic and Social Research Institute comparing the economies on either side of the border. The report, being launched by Taoiseach Simon Harris today, highlights how last year the South had higher labour force participation and employment rates. Participation stood at 78.5% in the Republic and 75.7% in the North, while employment rates were 75.1% in the Republic and 74.3% in the North. Unemployment is higher in the north as well. There are differences in life expectancy as well, and what have you. But my concern is that this is the problem we have with Dublin and Belfast, in that, you know, the ASRI have put this together. The Taoiseach is going to launch it, but it kind of brushes over the fact that a lot of border counties have a far similar experience to life in the north, be it health, money, employment, than they would have with the national average in the Republic, if that makes sense. So I think, if this is okay for me to say, I think these types of reports potentially can reinforce a regional imbalance, if that makes sense, because it makes the Republic look rosy, but doesn't take into consideration potentially the deficits in the northwest, which would share more with the north. I hope I've made sense there. But anyway, the Sun this morning, Fine Gael has slumped to a 10-year low in popularity, and another blow for leader Simon Harris, the latest political poll suggests. The study also found 70% disagreed with the Taoiseach's move to the role of finance minister. 70% disagreed with his rule. I suppose the fact it was self-appointing. 70% disagreed with the Taoiseach's move to the role of finance minister after Paschal Donohoe quit to take up a job with the World Bank. The latest Sunday Independent Ireland Thinks research found that the coalition party is sitting on 17% support, its lowest level since January 2016. And following Mr Donohoe's recent switch, Harris's move to his finance ministry has proved unpopular with many voters. Some 70% of those who responded said they disagreed with the appointment, while just 15% backed him in the new role. Among Fine Gael voters, 47% supported the move, 27% objected. Mr Harris's personal popularity rating was at 34%, unchanged from last month, but still a record low. We'll be talking about this a little later on. It was carried on the news, and just want to reference it in this part of the programme. But as I say, something we'll be talking about in more detail a little later on. It's in the Irish Daily Star. The Minister for Justice, who was up in the county on Friday, has ruled out an immediate inquiry into the cause of the Creasla tragedy. Jim O'Callaghan was speaking during a visit to the county. He met with the parents of Leona Harper, one of the 10 victims killed following an explosion at the Applegreen filling station in the village on the afternoon of October 7th, 2022. The minister told the Harper family that his opinion is that justice for the families of those who died in the explosion will not be delivered by an inquiry. So we'll speak to Donna Harper a little later on, who was in that meeting or had that conversation. And just to recap about this weather warning, not to alarm you, just to prepare you, a status yellow wind warning has been issued to all 26 counties ahead of what is set to be a wet and very windy day across the county or the country tomorrow. The alert issued by Met Éireann on Sunday morning indicates that very strong and gusty southerly winds will arrive in the early hours of Tuesday and continue to make an impact until the evening. Coastal areas are set to be worst affected, with gale force winds possible, while the warning is in place from 3 a.m. until 9 p.m. So just to be cautious if you're commuting to work or school or what have you tomorrow. You are going to wake up, if you haven't already been woken up, to a breezy day. Windy day, I suppose you could say. All right, we'll be back with more very shortly.
Newspapers are kindly supplied by Cosgrove Centra, Mountaintop Letterkenny. Now with the new look Mountaintop Diner.
Hugo Boss, Tom Ford, Dior, Marc Jacobs and Carolina Herrera. Find all the biggest names in perfume and aftershave this Christmas at McGee's Chemist Letterkenny, sponsors of today's 9 till noon show.
As your bump gets bigger, sleeping on your side helps keep your baby safe. It's okay if you wake up on your back at night, just turn on to your side again. Visit mychild.ie for advice on pregnancy, baby and toddler health.
At ESB, we're committed to communities, and through our Energy for Generations Fund, we're helping organisations like Spree Agus Sport in County Donegal to provide access to STEM education opportunities for young people.
By giving everybody equal opportunities, regardless of their background, we bring the community together.
Every year in Ireland, we contribute over €2 million to community projects. Because it's not just for us, it's for future us. Learn more at esb.ie/communities.
Across Ireland, people are committed to securing the future of their rural communities. Our Rural Future is the government's policy that backs that commitment through investment and actions. The Department of Rural and Community Development and the Gaeltacht is now developing the next phase of our Rural Future and wants to hear your views on what matters most for rural Ireland. For more information or to share your views, go to gov.ie/consultations before December 12th, 2025. Brought to you by the Government of Ireland.
This Christmas, don't miss the sound that makes the season magical. At Connect Hearing, we understand that hearing is more than sound, it's connection. Our expert team provides personalised hearing care from gentle wax removal to the latest in advanced hearing aids, tailored to you, so you can enjoy every laugh, every song, every precious moment. Call Connect Hearing today on 07491 13296. Connect Hearing, connecting you to life this Christmas and beyond.
Don't forget, the cut-off date to post your Santa letters at your local Maple store is Friday, December the 12th. Join us for our Customer Appreciation Day on Thursday, December the 18th. Kids can collect their reply from Santa and enjoy a special Maple Christmas treat. Maple stores fresh, convenient, local and full of festive cheer.
There's bingo every Monday night at Halfway House Burnfoot. Doors open at 7:30 with eyes down at 8:30. €2,500 must go. The snowball is now €2,050 on 45 numbers or less. If you're not in, you can't win. That's Halfway House Bingo Burnfoot tonight at 8:30.
Highland Radio Time Checks brought to you by EirGrid, the operator and developer of Ireland's electricity grid. EirGrid, powering up communities, powering up Ireland. The time is...
The time now is 20 minutes past 9. You're very welcome back to the 9 till noon show here on Highland Radio. Okay, so it took a while, but Donegal County Council finally passed its budget for 2026. It went down to the wire, it has to be said. We've got two guests to discuss this, and I suppose to discuss also perhaps some ways the budget discussions were leveraged to achieve other things, with Councillor Kieran Brogan of Fianna Fáil, the Mayor of Letterkenny Milford Municipal District. Good morning, Kieran. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, Greg.
And we also have Councillor Michael McBride, an independent, joining us as well. Michael, good to have you with us. Thanks for joining me.
Good morning, Greg and listeners.
Right, Kieran, I'll begin with you if that's okay, just to clarify the position, because we had Cahirlock Paul Canning on the show on Friday, and he suggested, I thought he'd suggested, that a 0% increase had been effectively agreed, but the stumbling block was that Fianna Fáil wanted to get a deferral of the active travel works in Letterkenny over the line, and they were using the budget negotiations to try and achieve that. Is that how you see how the process was going?
No, well, I think when Fianna Fáil went into the budget negotiations with the executive, we had a lot of concerns around several issues. Housing maintenance being one of them, with tidy towns issues that was a concern for us, and also, of course, the whole traffic situation around the active travel works that are ongoing in Letterkenny, and what solutions we could come up to regarding that, because I suppose it's causing a huge amount of inconvenience for many people at the moment, but we all know that the contract works are ongoing at the moment, so there was a cost involved in that. So we asked the executive to look at that and look at the cost, and they had to go into a costing of it because there's contracts in place. And we also looked for the appointment of traffic consultants specialist traffic consultants to look at the overall traffic situation in and around Letterkenny to come up with solutions, because it's 2009 now since there was a land use and transportation study done in Letterkenny that identified many different things that hopefully could improve the traffic situation. So the executive asked us for time to go in and look at all that, and of course there's a cost in all of that, and the cost was a sizable number, and I suppose based on that you had to increase the rates. So when we looked at the overall package that was talked about, we agreed as a party to go 2%. We talked to other parties and they agreed to support the initiatives that we had, because I suppose irrespective of whatever political persuasion you come from, everyone most of the time gets the same issues. It's about the traffic, it's about the housing maintenance, it's about tidy towns and the sports bursaries and different things. That was our position. We set out that position. We had discussions with all other parties as well. And look, it was decided then not to support our proposal and to go for the 0%. To be honest, I was disappointed at that. I thought the 2%, the impact of the 2% is very, very minimum. And the impact to ratepayers will be very minimum. I mean, 2%, as somebody who is a ratepayer would know that the 2% is a very small margin. And again, it would show us demonstrating that we're stepping up to the mark with regards to creative.
All right,
we'll demonstrate exactly what we're doing.
The Fianna Fáil 2% increase was defeated 20 votes to 15, I believe. Councillor Michael McBride, why did you, I presume you were amongst one of those who voted against this increase? Why?
Yes, that's correct, Greg. I actually proposed that the 2026 budget would be passed with a 0% increase in commercial rates, and I acknowledge the work that was done by the council executive in presenting the book with a 5% increase in the commercial rate. But I wasn't in a position to accept any rise in the commercial rate. For the first time since I joined the council 12 and a half years ago, I was actually lobbied by small and medium-sized enterprises and Letterkenny Chamber of Commerce asking that the rate would not increase at this time. They just feel that enough was enough. The business community are facing into another increase in minimum wage that's badly needed by the workers, and mandatory pension, which is known as auto-enrolment, rising fuel costs, rising electricity prices, and an economy where the disposable income is rapidly diminished.
But you heard from Councillor Councillor Kieran Brogan, as a ratepayer, this would be a minimal increase, but it would free up some resources for the council. And we heard from the council that you can't make an omelette without breaking eggs. We're going to see less money spent than was proposed in house maintenance, and as well, I'm sure you're lobbied well on that, how important that is. Michael, and also to other areas like tidy towns, etc., climate issues. There's going to be less spending in relation to those. So, every action has a reaction.
Well, Greg, what the first thing we have to realise is that the Fianna Fáil motion put forward, or counter motion put forward, that the budget was looking for 2% from the local business community, and that was targeted at giving €90,000 to a company that is doing an active travel project in Letterkenny to down tools and go home, not to work. Pay them $90,000 not to work. And it's also $50,000 for a traffic study. And if we look at this, Greg, the government are going to have a surplus of €10 billion this year. And this is the places that the finance needs to come from for doing all these studies. And just to give you an idea, in 2024, between motor taxation and VRT, the government took in will take in 1.9 billion.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Back to 2020, between VRT, the tax on fuels, motor taxation, and everything else, they took in 6.2 billion. So the money should be coming from the centre.
Yes, but it isn't. It isn't. Unfortunately, before I bring Kieran Brogan back in, Michael, what is the loss to businesses? You're concerned about paying one company 90 grand for not working. What is the loss to Letterkenny businesses, the ones that you claim to represent, as a whole, in terms of lost trade, people shopping elsewhere, etc.? Did you factor that into your decision?
I think, Greg, to be honest with you, the most dangerous thing that we've got at the moment is putting out the message that not to come to Letterkenny.
No. Sorry, with respect. Yeah. No, with respect. I will promote Letterkenny to unblue in the face, but I am not going to ignore the hundreds and hundreds of calls and communications we get from people caught up in traffic. Because, to be honest, that would be dishonest of me to do that. Michael, and I just simply can't do that. I understand what you're saying, but I also have to paint the picture that's out there as well, because we hold a mirror up to what's happening and we can't pretend it's not happening. So I don't want to be sort of painted into a corner of responsibility on any of this.
Yeah, can I just come in on that again? I brought this up at council before. We look at the traffic coming in from the Kilmacrennan side in the morning. The Wundy Hall Road is penciled in as the outer relief road for Letterkenny. And being honest about it, at this particular point in time, the outer relief road needs to be going from the mountaintop across the Glencar and then up through Kilhame and right round to the woodlands, because the inner relief road is never going to work. And you know something, if we tell the truth, the Bonnegee link is not going to solve the problem coming in from the Kilmacrennan side with the traffic. And school traffic is a major problem.
It
that
really
we've
is,
got.
yeah. I just want to, I don't want to sound like I just want to talk about the short and medium term, because I'm concerned about sort of what might happen between now and February for businesses and what have you. But that's to in no way invalidate your point. Councillor Kieran Brogan, you would have been lumping on 2% to every business in the county to pay contractors to sit at home, was what I took from Councillor McBride's comments there.
Yeah, well, first of all, Greg, we need to focus on our own role as councillors. We're elected members of Donegal County Council. Our budget this year is 224 million, the biggest budget ever we had in the history of the council. We need to realise that this is separation of powers. We're only responsible for the council budget, and to be talking about government is only, a reflection away from the real issues. We have to take responsibility for our own budget book, and we have to make decisions around that book. Now, just to focus on the percent and the conversation around the ratepayers, over the 80% of our ratepayers are paying 5,000, an average of 5,000 per year. That is €1.92 per week. That's the difference that will make in the 2%. I don't think that's anyway significant. If somebody was paying twice that would be less than €4 per week. And then if they're paying 4 times that,
So why would we have the Letterkenny Chamber? Why would we have the Letterkenny Chamber coming out then last week, Kieran, in your view, over effectively what could have been €6 or €7 per week for the average for 80% of businesses? Why would the Letterkenny Chamber come out so strongly opposing this increase over that kind of money?
I have to be honest. I was very, very shocked and disappointed at the timing of Letterkenny Chamber press release, because I facilitated a meeting, as Councillor McBride would know, less than 2 weeks ago with Letterkenny Chamber around the challenges they had in Letterkenny, and they never once mentioned the commercial rates. We were talking about the issue around the traffic wardens in Letterkenny, the traffic bylaws in Letterkenny, and we were talking about the active travel works. Now, for Michael to state here with you in Highland that paying a contractor 90,000 to go away and do nothing, I think you can't defend the undefensible. We need to face reality. Active travel has done huge damage to the businesses of Letterkenny, more damage than ever the rates will do. And what we were doing, and Michael and his colleagues has now voted against this, I think if the roadworks, if we had been on Highland Radio, and we specifically asked the executive to be going on Highland Radio, to go on all the media and say that Letterkenny was open for business, the works were now being suspended from the 10th of December and wouldn't pick up again until January. That's exactly what we were doing. And I think the message from that would have been huge, and that was voted against. And I think, the problem is here is that Michael has always supported all the active travel programmes right through at Letterkenny, supported the 4-lane programme. And I think that is the problem, and it's a case of we're going to defend the undefensible. Now, for Michael's suggestion about a road from Carnamulga to the mountain top at the Glencar Woodland, I mean, that's nonsense. They're not even on the plan. It takes a long time to go through a process to get on a plan.
I understand
have the TNT now.
We will say in
the public consultation. So I think we need to be realistic.
No,
and
of
to
course,
be honest with the people of where we're at.
Of course, Kieran, and I'll just say the same to you as I'm focusing on the short and medium term.
This active travel works, and the work around the consultants for Letterkenny, unless we start to take this serious. Now, we as a party has met with the Transport Forum. We're talking to the people in the buses who tell us the delays in the traffic. The delays they were telling us from Ulster to the mountain top on the buses now is 32 minutes. So we have a duty as public representatives to challenge what's there and to try and overcome it and come up with solutions. And we in the Fianna Fáil party were trying to come up with solutions. That's why we wanted the consultants. That's why we wanted the work suspended. We wanted to send out a positive message to the business people in Letterkenny. And I always say when you're making these decisions, if you can walk down Letterkenny Street and you can meet anybody in the street and demonstrate what the 2% was, it was 300,000 for the housing maintenance, 72,000 for the Tidy Towns, the sports bursaries as well of 10,000, the climate adaptation fund, and also the 90,000 for suspending the roadworks. And I will make no apologies, because I would have sent out a great message this week, because one of the most positive messages we would have had,
Councillor
that we were
McBride,
suspending the roadworks in order for
I know
businesses
there's an irony here that the chamber weren't calling for the 5% increase, but you're making the argument that this increase would have been very much to the benefit of the chamber members. It kind of raises an interesting dichotomy there. But back to you, Councillor McBride, defending the indefensible. You've backed these active travels. Do you still believe these active travel proposals are a good idea, especially considering, effectively it felt like to me that you want me to sort of pretend, that your decision to back these active travel plans was a good one?
Greg, just first of all, before I get into it, I wasn't able to hear Councillor Brogan when he was speaking there. There's some problem with the WhatsApp link. But what I will say about active travel is we have two sections of active travel finished in Letterkenny. The first one is around by the college, down Sentry Hill and right round by the Bishop's Palace. And the second one is the back road in Letterkenny. And I don't think, that people should be able to fault them. They're really, really well done.
Well, what Councillor Brogan was saying is that you're defending the indefensible.
No, well, just if I can finish. Now, I know myself that next year the ATU in Letterkenny are going to start a 17 million phase 1 development in Cairnamuggoff, their sports development. And they're very anxious that they would be connected to the sports development through active travel. If you go down to Carrick-on-Shannon, it's a town where active travel has been complete, and walk around and look at it, that's an absolutely fantastic job.
But just a couple of questions, if you don't mind. Carrick-on-Shannon's a very different. Do you believe many people will cycle up and down the mountaintop on this new cycle lane? Honestly, do you believe many will?
Greg, do you know something? I come across One-Day Hall there most mornings, and I'm seeing people on bicycles and scooters on that road. We can't turn around and just carte blanche say there's nobody using it, because there is people using it.
Do you have any concerns that the new active...
If it's a modern system and up to date and fit for purpose, I think you'll have more people. But there's one thing we can't do, is do nothing in Letterkenny, because it's not working the way it is. There's 20% more cars on the road in Ireland since 2016. That continues to increase. And if we don't do something to change it, then we're going to get into a worse situation rather than a better situation.
But how does the active travel proposals, as they are in the absence of the 10T, how does that get cars off the road?
Well, it'll get people walking and cycling to work in a safe conditions and safe manner. People who are close enough to work, that live in the town. And also we have to realise that this time next year, we're hoping that we'll have a new town bus service starting that people will be able to use to get around, because we have to look at.
Would you have any concerns that there aren't any? Would you have any concerns? Would you have any concerns that the plans that you voted for have the bus, if it's a hop on, have the bus stopped in the middle of lanes to take people, for people to get off and on, maybe people with a disability, that there aren't any places for this bus to pull into to allow people on and off? And the fact that the town's snarled up, it might, with the roads further narrowed, might make it a very, non-punctual bus service. Do you have any concerns about that?
I've already raised these issues at council meetings, and we're told by the companies that are running the buses that they will not go on to laybys, that they only do that stop and go model. That's what they want to do nationally, not optional for the councillors.
Okay. Councillor Brogan, last word to you, unless there's obviously something that...
No, well, just on the last word that Michael said, about he was told by the bus operators that they wouldn't come to the bus, they wouldn't come to the laybys. We have met, myself and Cahill, Paul Canning, met with the Transport Forum, and I intend to bring the Transport Forum in to meet all the elected members, including Councillor McBride, because they're saying the exact opposite. They want to pull into the laybys. And what they've also said to us, There's absolutely no point in Letterkenny thinking about putting in a town bus service at the minute because nobody would want it because of traffic delays. And it's about exactly what you're after saying. People need to be on time and on schedule. And they said at the minute that it's not workable. We need to be listening to these people. That's the same people that's telling us that it's taken 32 minutes from Ulliston to the mountaintop. And we need to be realistic about getting on the bicycles too, because I'll tell you, there's an awful lot of people. The success of Letterkenny has been huge over the last number of years. We have so many people working there. But the reality is they won't be getting on the bicycles in Termon or Kilmacrennan or Churchill or Gidor or Fannet or Glenties coming to Letterkenny on a bicycle either. And we need to be realistic about that. And then going forward, look, we've seen massive investment in the ETU, and I'm glad that the government has put in probably the guts of 100 million committed at this stage between the sports complex. But we need to be realistic about where people are coming from.
I suppose it all comes down to it really comes down to how people are prepared to get around into the future, whether people are going to cycle to and from work in Letterkenny. Obviously, Councillor McBride, you believe they are. That would free up traffic and make the bus, I suppose, easier to move around. Many people don't believe that's the case. Right, okay. Councillor Kieran Brogan, thank you. Go ahead.
Greg, can I say just briefly that I think was very disappointing as well not to support us bringing in specialist consultants to look at the whole traffic model around Letterkenny, because some of the small things at the small junctions, and one of the things that the bus operators would have said to us, that the auto track that was used by active travel, for example, at the junction at the bottom of the town at Tintagh, was used by a 12-metre bus was used for that, and most of the buses now are 14-metre.
Okay.
Small things at the junctions and stuff would have made a huge difference, and it's disappointing that the suspension of the works didn't happen, because imagine the good news story it would be going out to all the business people in Letterkenny, to all the business people throughout the town, that the works are now suspended. Unfortunately, that's not going to happen because Michael and his colleagues decided not to support that. And in my opinion, the reason they didn't is that they didn't want to be seen reversing on their support, continued support for the active travel.
Okay, well, I'll put that to it, because I presume Councillor McBride would be of the view that he wouldn't sell out like that. But Councillor McBride, last word to you. I don't know if you heard Councillor McBride. He said that, you blocked these initiatives because they were tied into a suspension of these active travel works, and that you wouldn't want to be seen to be backtracking.
I just want to be very clear about this. But this has turned out today to be a discussion about Letterkenny, and I'm happy enough to talk about Letterkenny. I think I've made my point very clear on it. And I will be solid going forward on my ideology on about active travel, because I think when it's completed, it'll be a very, very good thing for the town in Letterkenny. But we have to remember, this is a county-wide budget that we were looking at, and that was reflected in the vote that was got, because the vote on the counter motion put in by Fianna Fáil was defeated.
Okay, but I will say, in fairness, McBride, it was a county-wide vote on the active travel for Letterkenny as well too. There were people in Donegal Town, Mount Charles, Guidor, Dunlow, Inishowen, Malin, and all over the place. They had their say on the active travel as well. And I'm not sure of the numbers, but it was much tighter if you only looked at local councillors, if I could put it like that. So, we can't cherry pick when things is a county-wide issue and a Letterkenny only issue either.
Oh, absolutely. As I say, I'm very, very happy with the decision that I made on the budget day, and I'll continue. I won't change. I'm happy enough that any decisions I've made are the correct decisions, and I'll stick by them.
Yep, of course, and that's what it's all about. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you very much, Kieran. I appreciate your time as well.
Thanks.
Okay,
Greg,
bye-bye. Councillor Michael McBride, Councillor Kieran Brogan. What's your views? Let me know. 074 91 25,000 to give us a call, or WhatsApp or text 086 60 25,000.
The 9 till noon show is brought to you by McGee's Chemist, Main Street, Letterkenny, with all your perfume and aftershave presents this Christmas delivered to your door, or order online and collect in store. Visit mcgees.ie.
Have you been switching things up since last time, Claire, like we discussed?
Yes. I've been on a switching roll. Breakfast for lunch, dinner for breakfast, left shoe on the right foot, and vice versa. Looks well, doesn't it? Walking the cat, letting the ducks feed me.
Wonderful, Claire.
Switching things up is good for you. That includes your energy supplier. When you do, know the CRU is your energy ally. Get advice and know your rights. Visit cru.ie.
ZYXWVUT.
Mike Denver with guests Ray Lynham, Claudia Buckley and Jack Keogh in concert at Jackson's Hotel Ballybuffet on Thursday, February 5th. Tickets on sale now at hotel reception and ticketmaster.ie. That's Mike Denver and guests in concert at Jackson's Hotel Ballybuffet on Thursday, February 5th. The perfect Christmas gift.
True luxury is best experienced firsthand. So, experience it for yourself today at Lexus Letterkenny. From the thrilling NX to the all-electric RZ, both available with a €2,000 bonus once registered before January 31st. Enjoy everyday extraordinary with the compact LBX or the stylish UX, with flexible payment options available across the range. Luxury begins with L at Lexus Letterkenny Port Road. Lexus. Experience amazing. Terms and conditions apply.
Start the day with our mini breakfast at Sweeney's Hotel Dunlow. Only €10 at Bacchus Bakery. Then slow Sunday right down with Sunday lunch and glass restaurant from $18.50 for one course. Festive comfort, great food and winter warmth are waiting. Book now. Sweeney's Hotel 074 952 1085.
A public interest message from Donegal County Council. Family Fun starts here. Join us for family time at your local library this December and explore some of the many events taking place for families in all local libraries across Donegal. From stop-motion Lego challenges, painting and craft, sing-alongs, Christmas card making, comic workshops, reading corners and storytelling. Family time at your library is packed with free fun activities for all ages. Library membership is free and events are happening at each of the 13 branches throughout the county. To find out more, visit donegallibrary.ie or call into your local branch. Your library, your family time.
Can Councillor Kieran Brogan clarify if he is against the bridge over the Swilly as it's going to take traffic away? I think it was Councillor McBride referenced that. Councillor McBride stated he was lobbied by businesses to not raise rates. Why does Councillor Brogan not want to listen to the small and medium businesses within town? The road from Mountain Top to Woodlands is a great idea. Councillor Brogan says that he had a meeting with the Letterkenny Chamber and that wasn't referenced, rates weren't referenced at all. And he said that he was very surprised at Letterkenny Chamber's timing of that press release because, according to him, they hadn't raised that issue with him at a recent meeting. Greg, I was talking to a man at the weekend and he told me of at least 4 businesses in Letterkenny closing up. Indeed, there are, I certainly am aware of one. There are other businesses in different parts of the county that are closing up. I predicted this in the middle of the summer earlier in this year that at this time people would start making decisions about their future, and unfortunately that is coming to pass now. People would have saw the summer. How busy was the summer? Can we survive through the winter and be in a good footing for the next summer? And unfortunately, I felt that some businesses were going to say, no, we can't, especially with new regimes coming in, tax, VAT, etc. A caller says the minimum amount of 2% is a lot extra for business owners when you add in other costs. Come January, with the pension fund being introduced, put pressure on central government to give us more funds. That's the key to all of this, of course. But Councillor Brogan estimated, was it less than €2 a week for your average business? Right, I'm joined on the programme by Donna Harper, who very sadly lost her beautiful daughter Leona in the Creasler tragedy. Thank you for joining me, Donna, because I know, and we were out of studio, I know since that you managed to secure a meeting with Minister for Justice Jim O'Callaghan in the Mount Errigal Hotel on Friday. So, you know, it's a very unique situation, I think, for you guys to be able to actually sit face to face and tease this out. So how do you frame the meeting? What came from it, Donna?
Good morning, Greg. Yeah, we managed to secure a very last-minute meeting, and there was absolutely no hesitation from Jim O'Callaghan or his advisor to meet with me and my husband, Hugh. And because it was last minute, other family members, they just couldn't attend because, you know, it was last minute. But we put their concerns to the minister along with our own. The meeting with Jim O'Callaghan, we were able to explain. The meeting with Jim O'Callaghan, we explained to him that the column for the public inquiry was not to undermine or question the capability of the Garda Síochána in any kind of a way. But the meeting gave us the opportunity to give our concerns to Jim O'Callaghan, and it was important for us, and it was important to get all the facts to be sure that this doesn't happen again, and that's why we were calling.
So
for the inquiry.
We've had it before whereby, the government or representatives of the government have said that, let the investigation run its course, and then perhaps we can look at a public inquiry. The counter argument was, look, the two can run side by side. They can go at the same time. The minister seems to be looking to defer a public inquiry, and you seem. What did he say that has you framing the meeting as a positive one? If do you understand my confusion?
Oh no, I do, Greg. As the minister said on your show there to Donald Kavanagh himself, that he would like to see justice through the courts and take it from there. But the thing is, there will be questions outside of that Garda inquiry as well, and the state does have a responsibility to get us them answers, and it should not be left to the families to try and get them answers. The reason that I was happy with the meeting is because, really because it was last minute and he did meet with us, and he did not rule out the public inquiry. He did say that he would like to see it go through the courts first, and if there is any questions left then to be answered, that he would sit down and talk to us. So we were quite positive with that, because there is going to be questions outside of that. Without a doubt, there's so much that needs to be answered to us, and I do believe that it is the state's responsibility to give us them answers.
So, then have you managed to consult with some of the other families? Is it the position now, just so I know myself for future questioning, if it comes up, the position is now, right, okay, it seems like we will have to accept the court and the Gardaí to go through that process, and then after that, if there are further questions, then we can sit down with Jim Callaghan and see how those questions can be answered. Is that the position now?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, as I say, the meeting did go quite well. We were quite positive from the talk. It was a private meeting that we had with him, and that is what Jim had said to us, that he would like to see it run through the courts, and if there was any other questions, but there will be a lot of questions outside of that as well. And again, I do believe that it's the state's responsibility to get us them answers, and there should be no talk about a cost or anything else. It should not be coming into this. This is it's in the interest of the public as well, because the public want to know as well, and changes have to be made. They really do have to be made. Either the states are going to prosecute, or the Minister for the Justice will just have to get the wheels in motion and sit down and talk to us after.
But again, you're prepared, you individually and those who you speak on behalf are prepared now to give the legal process, allow it to go its due course, and then revisit the public inquiry. Sorry to have to clarify this again. Then revisit the public inquiry with the minister if there are outstanding questions, which it's likely there may well be. But you're prepared at this point, because it's been the subject of a few motions in the council as well, and we've had Sinn Féin on saying that there's no harm with these things running parallel and there's no excuse for them not to. Yeah. So, but the families now are more content to let the court process conclude and then revisit the public inquiry conversation.
Well, after the meeting with Jim O'Callaghan, that's the way that it's looking. We would love to see the public inquiry here right now, but after the meeting with Jim, as he said as well on your show, he would like to see it go through the courts first, and then anything outside of that. But as we all know, there still will be questions that need to be answered. Yeah, for sure. And the sooner the better, I'm sure. Donna, listen, thanks so much. The sooner the better. Yeah. We're eagerly awaiting as well on word from the DPP. We know a bulk of the file has gone. We were told the other wee bit of the file will go before March. So we're still waiting on eagerly waiting away on word from the DPP. Like, Greg, I'm trying to be as delicate as I can here when I say this next, but 10 people went into a shop and they never came home.
Mm-hmm.
So when do we start being realistic about public inquiries here? I mean, it was a mass tragedy like this. And again, I'll say that, like, the cost or anything like that should not be coming into consideration.
We need to learn that.
The public want to know. They have a right to know.
Of course, we need to know, and we need to learn if there's things to learn. Donna, thank you so much for your time. I do appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right. Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Greg. Thanks.
Donna Harper there.
Gift sets by celebrity, by budget, or from the classic collection at McGee's Chemist, Main Street, Letterkenny. For the perfect present every time, visit mcgees.ie, sponsors of today's 9 till noon show.
This Sunday the 14th, Glenswilly GAA present a big poker tournament with guaranteed prize money of €1,500. It starts at 5:30 with registration from 5 in the hall at Fox Hall. This ad is kindly sponsored by Harley's Bar, Trenta.
This is the sound of a superpower we all have. Sending Christmas cards to our family and friends and making them feel loved. Who will you send magic to? Your auntie? Your brother? Your bestie living abroad? You can buy Christmas stamp booklets in your local post office or online with free next day delivery. Send Christmas love from the heart today. An Post. Send love.
For the perfect gift this Christmas, visit Tinny's Toys in Letterkenny, where you'll find top quality toys at great prices. From Care Bears to Lego, Beyblades to Brooder toys, and our amazing range of kids' electric ride-on cars, Tinny's Toys has something for every wish list. Visit us in-store at Leck Road, Letterkenny, or shop the entire range online at tinnystoys.com. Tinny's Toys, much more than just farm toys.
If I was cyberbullied, you put your arm around me, right?
If the videos on my feed tried to push me to extremes, would you intervene?
What if I was pressured into a dangerous challenge?
Or became bombarded with videos of self-harm?
Disordered eating?
Suicide?
Children and young people can encounter violence, bullying, explicit content and many other dangers online. Harmful content is never acceptable. Report it to the platform where you see it. Visit Commission the Mound at www.cnam.ie for more on how to report.
Luxury living begins at the heart of your home, your fireplace. At Spratt Fireplaces, Newmills, Letterkenny, we offer statement fireplaces, bespoke surrounds, and a wide range of stoves, including gas, wood burning, pellet, and bioethanol models. No chimney? No problem. We'll help you choose and install the perfect solution. Stylish, efficient, and tailored to your home. Call 074 912444 or visit spratfireplaces.ie. Spratt Fireplaces, bringing comfort and style home.
Highland Radio weather updates with McElhinney's. Find Christmas inspiration for everyone, from top beauty gifts to perfect last-minute ideas. Visit us in Ballybuffet to explore the full range or shop online anytime at mcelhinneys.com.
A mix of scattered showers and sunny spells today. More persistent cloud will build from the south later in the day. Highest temperatures of 8 to 10 degrees with moderate to fresh southwesterly winds backing southeasterly and easing towards evening. It's going to become very wet and windy tonight with persistent rain heavy at times. Lowest temperatures of 7 to 9 degrees. Tomorrow will start that way, but the weather will improve as the day wears on, and by evening there'll just be scattered showers and winds not where they were at. Okay. That's the weather forecast, isn't it? Okay. A caller says, someone on YouTube says, Greg, did I hear right, or did that elected county councillor just say there were bikes and scooters on the Windahole Road this morning? This is why everything is the way it is. I think I did hear that. We're heading really towards an hour warning for you if you want to get in on today's draw, because we've got €1,000 to give away, and it's all part of 11 draws culminating in a car worth over €35,000 just before Christmas. You can be all in all 11 draws, but you need to get on it because there's a lot to process. Not if you go online, highlandradio.com. It's perfectly safe and secure, and we'll get you in that draw. But if you want to give us a call here, get in quick, because we want to make sure that everyone that wants a ticket that way gets it. 07491 25,000. Tickets are €15 for 10 draws of £1,000 and one draw of a 35,000 plus car. 07491 25,000, or you can call up to us. But you need to get on your bike No pun intended. Right, we'll be back with more after the news and obituary notices. Stay where you are.
Chanel, Flowerbomb, Lancôme, Giorgio Armani, Paco Rabanne. Where else but at McGee's Chemist, Letterkenny, this Christmas. Sponsors of today's 9 till noon show.
It's flu season, and children are twice as likely as adults to catch the flu, which can sometimes cause serious illness. That's why all children aged 2 to 17 can get their free nasal spray flu vaccine, a safe and effective way to protect them, and the rest of your family too. So make an appointment with your GP or pharmacist. Visit hsc.ie/flu for more information. From the HSC.
Make Christmas shopping easy at Irwin Expert Electrical. Explore LG TVs from compact design to big screen and find all your top tech and home gifts in one place. Samsung, Apple, Shark, Dyson, Ninja and more. Trusted brands, great value and expert service. Christmas made easy at Irwin's Expert in Letterkenny and Buncrana.
I know what you're feeling, and I was there too. And I know you might think that there is nobody to talk to, but I promise that you're not alone. It was never your fault, and you deserve support and healing in your own time. Whenever you're ready to talk, Dublin Rape Crisis Centre will be ready to listen. Call the 24-hour national helpline on 1-800-77-8888.
At Centra, we've got amazing Santa savers from now until the big man arrives. Like Inspired by Centra Party Food Range 2 for €8. Award-winning Inspired by Centra Chocolate Yule Log 540 gram, €9. And selected Inspired by Centra Mince Pies, any 2 for €7. Stock up with Centra this Christmas. Centra. Live every day.
McGowan Hearing, one of the longest established audiologists in the Northwest, now have weekly clinics in Letterkenny, Buncrana and Carndonagh. Book your free hearing aid consultation at one of these clinics or with audiologist Darren McGowan in your own home. Call 07191 00208 or visit mcgowanhearing.com.
Have you booked your place on Highland Radio's Cavan Country Getaway at the Sleeve Russell Hotel, Monday 2nd to Thursday 5th of February? Enjoy dinner, bed and breakfast, plus live music from David James, Jimmy Buckley, Dominic Kerwin, Louise Morrissey, Sean Keane and many more. All for €495 per person sharing. Call us to book or visit highlandradio.com.
Live, on air, online and on the Highland Radio app. This is Highland Radio News.
Good morning with your Highland Radio News at 10 o'clock. I'm Ryan Brolly. A driver who had been banned from the roads has been charged to court after Gardaí in Letterkenny found him to be driving whilst over the legal alcohol limit. This happened on Saturday night after they failed to remain at the scene of a collision involving another vehicle in the town. The disqualified driver was arrested on suspicion of drink driving, having failed a roadside breath test. Further breath testing found him to be 9 times over the legal limit. A court appearance will follow, and alongside this the car was seized, and now the owner must apply to the judge of the district court to get it back. Gardaí are investigating a definite line of inquiry into a house fire in Edenderry, County Offaly on Saturday evening. 2 people died in the fire, 60-year-old Mary Holt and 4-year-old Tig Farrell, and a second woman in her 50s in hospital with serious injuries. The investigation suggests the arson attack may be drugs related. Justice Minister Jim O'Callaghan confirmed Gardaí are following this line of inquiry as part of an ongoing murder investigation.
I know that one line of inquiry that is being considered is whether or not the individuals who were killed and who were injured obviously had no involvement in the drugs trade, but there's a suggestion and a line of inquiry that this may have been related or carried out by dangerous criminals involved in the drugs trade.
Gardaí are currently at the scene of a road traffic collision near Killygordon this morning. The collision involving 3 vehicles occurred on the N15 at Killtown shortly after 7:30am. No injuries have been reported at this time. Now is the time to prepare for an ageing population, not 10 years down the line when it becomes a crisis. Councillor Ali Farron has called on his Inishowen colleagues to band together to see more hospital beds across the peninsula. Councillor Farron raised difficulties being experienced by one family in particular who could not get a bed in Carndonagh Community Hospital recently. Since then, he says more people have approached him.
A lot of people have been in contact with me saying if this is affecting them, it might be affecting them in Buncrana, or it might be affecting them for disabled children not getting respite. So it appears to me, the HSE are not forward planning. They're not planning for the future. We're getting an aging population. We need to have more beds available, not just for step-down beds. We need long-term care beds.
Atlantic Technological University and Vodafone Ireland have successfully secured €4.6 million in funding from the EU's Connecting Europe Facility Digital Fund to develop digital technologies for new online and on-campus apprenticeship courses for engineering and construction students. The initiative will be piloted in the Donegal campus. With more, here's Kitty Gillen.
The funding will be used to develop extended reality labs powered by a private 5G standalone network and on-campus edge computing delivered by Vodafone Ireland. The initiative will be piloted at ATU Donegal, where students will gain access to immersive virtual and augmented reality environments that replicate physical labs and workshops. This funding will allow students to learn in new and flexible ways, combining classroom teaching with remote and virtual training, making education more accessible, especially for people living in rural areas or those balancing work, study and apprenticeship programmes. Specifically, the new training tools will include virtual construction labs where students can practice building using digital models, immersive learning platforms that simulate real building and construction environments, and 3D video streaming to help students learn technical skills through realistic simulations.
Police in Enniskillen are appealing for witnesses and information following a collision involving a pedestrian and a cyclist on Friday evening. A report was received at around 6:40 p.m. of a woman who was walking on the footpath in the Wellington Road area being knocked down to the ground by a male cyclist. The woman, who hit her head when she fell, subsequently attended hospital for treatment for her injuries. Inquiries are ongoing, and anyone who may have witnessed the collision or who might have any information, including dashcam, CCTV or other footage, is asked to contact police on 101. And weather, a mix of scattered showers and sunny spells today. More persistent cloud will build from the south later in the day. Highest temperatures of 8 to 10 degrees with moderate to fresh southwesterly winds. That is all from the newsroom for now. We'll be back with headlines at 11 o'clock.
The obituary notices for this Monday morning, December 8th. The death has occurred of Andy McCallion, Ishkaheen Muff. Andy's remains are reposing at the home of his son Seamus in Ishkaheen Muff. Funeral from there tomorrow at 10:30 for 11 o'clock Requiem Mass in St Patrick's Church, Ishkaheen, followed by interment in the adjoining cemetery. Family time from 10 o'clock and before the funeral, please. Family flowers only, please. Donations in lieu if desired to the Donegal Hospice, care of any family member or Eamon McLaughlin, funeral director. The death has occurred of Frank Porter, Fergus, Dripsey, Cork and Redcastle, Donegal. Frank's Requiem Mass will take place this morning at 11 o'clock in St Columba's Church, Drung, followed by interment in the adjoining cemetery. Requiem Mass can be viewed live on stcolumbusdrung.net. The death has taken place of Maxie McCreary, Glebe House, Ballinacor, Killygordon. His remains will repose at his late residence until 10 o'clock this evening. Funeral leaving from his home tomorrow at 1:30, going to Dunamore Presbyterian Church, Liscooley, for 2 o'clock service of Thanksgiving, followed by burial in the adjoining graveyard. The house is private to family only, please, before the funeral. Family flowers only, please. Donations in lieu to the Alzheimer's Society of Ireland, care of Terence McClintock, funeral director. And the death has taken place of Michael McGarvey, Rana Mona Anagree, and formerly of Mina Niller Guidor. Funeral Mass will take place this afternoon at 1 o'clock in St Mary's Star of the Sea Church, Anagree, with burial afterwards in the adjoining cemetery. The funeral Mass can be viewed live on Kieran Norty, funeral director's Facebook page and on the church webcam. Family flowers only, please. Donations in lieu if desired to the Donegal Hospice. For family information and more details regarding wakes and funerals, please go to highlandradio.com.
If you love amazing Christmas value, you'll love Aldi's Board Beer Quality Assured Fresh Whole Irish Turkeys from $8.99. In store from December 20th. Ready to crown the Christmas table. Our festive frozen party food, including southern fried chicken bites, 12 duck spring rolls, and a vegan party selection, all at just $1.99. That'll get you in the party mood. If you love Christmas, you'll love Aldi, while stocks last.
Welcome back to the programme. Thanks for all of your comments coming in so far this morning. Greatly appreciate each and every one of them. A caller says the Backroad School area is a disaster. This is in and around Letterkenny, so if you know, you know. No drop-off for St. Eunan's at all. Pedestrian crossings at Tinty and Kernans. Blocks roads coming from New Mills when someone crosses and a car turned to go up the back road. How come not one of these councillors use bikes or walk? Well, we don't know who does and doesn't. But I take your point. Hi, Greg. I had Friday off work, but had to go to Letterkenny to get my phone fixed. Try to stay out of it with the traffic, but had to go, and it was a nightmare. I turned around and said to the wife, not be back here again till well after Christmas. We have Letterkenny destroyed. The one thing I will say, and it's very important in relation to this, because I can only speak from my own experience, there's certain times of the day in any large town there's going to be traffic. There's never going to be a scenario, no matter what anyone ever does, is whereby going into Letterkenny is going to be like going into Mount Charles. It's just simply not the case. It's about scale. A lot of the time, I can get in there, no bother at all, get parking, get my stuff, and away again. There are times, though, pinch points, whereby there are issues. There's no doubt about that. And sometimes it can be a little bit random. But in and around Letterkenny, once you're in, personally, I find you can move freely, and the businesses, do an awful lot to support the county through their rates, but also, people through employment and what have you. So maybe look at timing or whatever it might be, but I wouldn't be completely discouraged. There's an incident on the Cullion Road in Letterkenny and the road is blocked. Has that been cleared? I think I heard someone reference. Shannon, did you get a call in relation to the Cullion Road? No, can you hear me? She can't. Everyone's on phones. Right, now, on the issue of Ain't Do. Morning, Greg. Ain't Do at 10% in Ulster Connacht, a few points behind the two government parties on the back of Ain't Do's highest poll. Ain't Do leader Peadar Tóibín will visit Donegal this weekend and will be joined by Deputy Leader Gemma Brawley at a meet and greet event in Buncrana on Sunday at Cockhill, 8 p.m. On rates again, Kieran has the gift of being on everyone's side. Don't see them walking or cycling very far. As a small business owner, I'm very concerned about what the new year brings. The traffic is bad and is putting people off. What I'm getting for paying all these rates, or what am I getting? I have spoken to business owners who say they've been threatened with the bailiffs for non-payments of rates. Good morning, Greg. A lot of us are wondering why there's no activity scene at the Market Square this year. Right, so normally like a crib or something along those lines. I'm not awfully familiar with it. But is there normally one there, and why isn't the one there this year? Who's responsible for putting it up? I wonder. I don't know. I simply don't know. Any information in relation to that would be useful. A caller says the whole lot of them were asleep at the wheel for years. The Bonnegee Bridge was needed 20 years ago. Now it needs to be out about the Silver Tassie, and a bridge similar to the Foyle Bridge built. It was built 40 years ago, by the way. There's more cycle lanes than enough about town, and I see a handful of people using them. Most of the traffic is coming from out of town, and people from out of town are not going to be cycling or on scooters. Wise up! Cycle lanes don't suit every town. I think now maybe I'm wrong, but I think the example of Carrick-on-Shannon was given, and my recollection of Carrick-on-Shannon, and it's very fresh when I'm there or when I arrive, but can get less fresh the longer I'm there, is that it's flat. I do recall walking around it, and it is flat as a billiard table. My recollection is, as I say, I'm open to correction in relation to that. Letterkenny not so. Letterkenny's been built on a hill. Right, keep your calls, comments coming in, 086 60 25,000. Just one more mention, not the last mention, but I just want to really make sure no one misses out. We are closing the lines 11 or so for our draw. We've got 10 draws of €1,000, and we've got 10 calls of €1,000. 1 second here. What's that? Someone's just... scam caller. Sorry, I thought it was a scam caller. It was a scam caller. but I have to add them on WhatsApp. My God, they're not making it too easy for themselves, are they? I just thought I could get a scam caller on the radio there once they'd rang me. What was I saying? Yeah, the car draw lines will close in about an hour, I would say. We've got €1,000 to give away between 11 and 12. That will really get you Christmas going. And €1,000 every day this week on various shows, and then every day next week on various shows. And then we've got a car, a beautiful Renault Symbios to give away, €35,000 plus. If you want to be in all 11 draws and just chill out for the rest of December, get in touch with us now, 07491 25,000. Or you could go onto our website, which really is the handiest for you, and I'm not going to lie, potentially handier for us, and that is highlandradio.com. It's all very safe and all very secure. David James actually is coming in to do the draw, and it's live, and you can watch it as well at around about 11:30. So if you don't ordinarily watch the program, feel free to tune in on our YouTube channel or our Facebook channel, and you can see the draw taking place live. And just to remind you, by the way, because there's a lot, there's a few competitions going on. You don't have to answer a phone call, just to be very clear on that. So if you're at work or you're going to be driving, or your signal's crap at home, you don't have to answer a telephone call. Whoever's number comes out, they win. And that's the €1,000 or the cars, by the way. So if you work in retail and the boss says you can't have your phone out, don't worry about that. You'll win one way or other, but you have to be in to win. Back after these. Good luck, by the way, if you are playing the bingo today.
It's time for Vision Ireland Bingo on Highland Radio.
It's Monday the 8th of January. You're playing on the green sheet for the daily prize of €600. The reference number is S6. It's game number 50. The numbers are 33, 59, 27, 64, 62, 18, 36, 19, 3, and finally 53. Phone your claim to 9104833 before midnight, leaving your name, contact number and the name of the shop where you purchased your book, and we'll call you back the next working day. Get all your Vision Ireland bingo information at highlandradio.com.
The Three Amigos, Jimmy Buckley, Robert Mazzell and Patrick Feeney are back on tour. This award-winning show is full of laughter, music and song. See The Three Amigos live. Clonry Hotel, Letterkenny, Monday, January 26th. Tickets priced $39.50, now on sale at hotel reception and ticketmaster.ie, where extra charges may apply. The Three Amigos live. This show is not to be missed.
This week at Dunnes Stores, get Hula Hoop 6-pack, Cadbury's 4-pack and selected bottles of 7-Up, Pepsi and Club. Now half price. Find boxes of chocolates like Lily O'Brien's Petty Indulgence Collection 340g. Was €24, now €12. Or selected Black Magic and Dairy Box, also half price. And grab Deal 9 of our 12 Deals of Christmas with Regina Blitz 8-roll pack exclusive to Dunnes Stores, now half price. Make Christmas for everyone at Dunnes Stores. Terms and conditions apply. DRS applies.
Join me, Marty Freely, every Friday night from 8 for Rocket Hits on Highland Radio in association with Arena 7. Dine in our newly refurbished Woodbury Grill, Bar and Restaurant this Christmas with DJ After in the Bowling Bar. Book your Christmas night out at Arena 7 today.
Brian McCormick here to let you know we're celebrating 30 years, supporting every match, mile and movement with you. We opened in 1995, so when you spend €30 or more, we'll give you a 1995 voucher to use off your next purchase. From sports footwear to your local football top, we've got everything to keep you moving, and this is our way of saying thank you. Here's to the next 30 years.
Gift sets by celebrity, by budget, or from the classic collection at McGee's Chemist, Main Street, Letterkenny. For the perfect present every time, visit mcgees.ie, sponsors of today's 9 till noon show.
So we do invite you to contact us, and we do then endeavour to get any responses where we can. And you might remember towards the end of last week, we got a contact from a listener that read, "My husband gets a blister tablet for all his tablets. From the 1st of January 2026, he'll have to pay €20 for the blister pack. The HSC said they will not be paying the subsidy for it. He takes 18 tablets in the morning. How am I supposed to sort his tablets out at my age? My husband already pays €25 a month levy." Tom Murray is the president of the Irish Pharmaceutical Union, and he joins me now. Tom, thanks for your time. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Greg. How are you?
I'm good. What's a blister pack, Tom? Because, some people will be very familiar with it and some will have never come across it before.
Okay, so a blister pack is what we would call a monitored dosage system. It's a compliance aid where there will be a number of days of the week and a number of times per day, and the tablets are separated through it to help people manage multiple medicines. And that is different to what was being provided before, and what's happened is two different services have become conflated or mixed over the period of time. So what the state has never ever paid for blister packing. What the state has paid for was phase dispensing, where a patient, due to patient safety issues, would require multiple supplies, often weekly, to help manage their medicines. A lot of pharmacists were then actually adding in the blister pack as a second compliance aid to help with those patients, but it was never ever funded by the state. But some patients believed it was because they were receiving a tray whilst they were getting their phase supply. What the state have done now is they've looked at it with the pharmacoeconomics profiles, and they've also looked at the patient safety issues around phasing. And rather than having that the patient is eligible for phasing, we've identified the medicines that are more at risk for patients. And as a patient care and patient-centered approach, they're actually going to phase only the medicines that are at risk for those patients. Patients will still be able to get the blister packs, but blister packing has always been a private service, and many pharmacists or many patients have been paying for blister packs for years. So it's not actually clear to say the state no longer subsidise it, because the state never did pay for those. That was an extra service pharmacists provided to people who were getting phase dispensings. Phasings will still be available for people with psychotropic medicines, opiate medicines, the like of pregabalin or Lyrica. But for patients who may or may not need the monitored dosage system, if they choose to continue to use it, it is a private service, and it has always been. And to be honest with you, there is very, very little evidence to support the use of compliance aids like monitored dosage systems in managing medicines, which is why, from the state's point of view, there's no investment or return investment for patient care for them.
So to suffice to say, some of this, what we're talking about, is a convenience for the person, because someone else is doing the sorting.
Absolutely. Some of it is a convenience to help, and that is still available, and any patient who's worried about that should talk to their local pharmacist to talked about different ways of managing compliance, and there are more than just these blister packs that are available. They're not the most effective way to manage multiple medicines, but some patients like them. Talk to your local pharmacist about that, and the pharmacist will go through a range of options with you about how to manage your medicines. Often the blister packs cause as many problems as they solve, because if you have a patient, if I give you your medicines and every one of them is a box with the name of the medicine on it, you can tell me what medicines you're on. If I hand you out a tray with a load of little white tablets and yellow tablets in it, very often we get patients who no longer know what tablets they're on. If they drop one out of the blister, they don't know which one they've dropped. So the blister packs aren't perfect. They are a help, but they're not perfect.
I've seen people open up like a tray with squares in it, plastic. It's almost like something you store fishing tackle in. And they place the tablets in that themselves, and there's days on that. What's the difference between that and a blister pack?
None whatsoever, except in the blister pack, the pharmacist is doing it for you.
Okay, right. I get you.
And many, many patients prefer to do it themselves at home. Some patients prefer to have their pharmacist do it for them. It depends on the patient and how comfortable they are doing it. And again, they should talk to their local pharmacist about what's best for them and how to do it. They're extremely labour intensive in pharmacies, and that is why, unfortunately, there has always been a charge for those things. But where people were getting phase dispensing, where the state was paying for the patient to come in multiple times a month to the pharmacy, the pharmacist was then supplementing that by providing a blister. The state now will continue to pay for phasing for certain medicines, but not for every medicine for every patient, because the cost was getting way too high for the state, and it wasn't actually producing any patient safety advances, whereas the new phasing guidelines, where we've identified the tablets that are of danger to the patients, will provide that. I am aware, just to respond to obviously the lady who texted into your own show, there are many, many patients who are vulnerable patients and who rely on the MDS, and we are working with the state on those. There is to be a medicines optimization budget to come into play next year, and we have talked to all the patient advocacy groups. We've met 10 of them so far who've asked for their advice and what they want us to do. all of which, by the way, told us they think every pharmacy should be charging for this, which was an interesting thing to hear from advocacy groups. But we are trying to work with the state on the Medicines Optimisation Bill to try and identify those vulnerable patients and provide some form of care package for those, but it just hasn't been finalised with the state yet.
I presume this sounds like a transition, right? That to be handled as best
Yes.
as possible. There is an accepted sort of normalised service there for people who are, but people who might be starting a course of medicine, they would never have known that. You know what I mean? They can't miss what they didn't know, right? So this is really about transitioning those currently familiar with this system to what will become the norm then?
And maybe some of the people who've become used to this system have become dependent on something they don't necessarily need. Some of them do need it, some of them don't. Some of our patients buy these, as you call them, the weekly pill packs that look like a fishing tackle box, and they fill their medicines themselves. They prefer to do that. Some patients prefer to have their pharmacist do it for them, and that's a conversation they have to have with their individual pharmacist and in their local pharmacy to see what the costs involved in that will be and how that service is provided.
And presumably there's some latitude amongst the pharmacists as well. I don't know. I don't want to make any commitments, but...
Well, I can't talk about individual pharmacists, costs or individual pharmacies. I know that I have patients who have been paying for that service for over 5 years in my 3 pharmacies, and they very happily pay for it. And they have all... I've talked to them all individually, or the pharmacist in the pharmacies has. And there are other patients who say, no, I'd rather do it myself. And again, it's a conversation that you have. I can't set a price or tell you what people, because there's different cost basis in every pharmacy.
Right. So just to be clear, right back to the beginning then, and it is a complex one, but I just want to break it down one more time because there's a difference. Obviously, there's medicines that are handed out in certain numbers. There's not necessarily a as great a risk of taking the wrong medicine or too much medicine. So there are your medicines that are given out in greater numbers versus those where a patient has to come in on a more regular basis. So just break it down. Yes. What is going to continue and what is going to change?
So for many, many patients, there'll be no changes. For certain patients, they will continue to get their medicines phased if they're taking, as I say, psychotropic medicines or medicines that pose a danger to them if they're taken incorrectly. For other patients who take the MDS systems who have been, or the blister packs who have been receiving them as an additional service from their pharmacy free of charge, they need to talk to their local pharmacies to see are they going to continue to provide the service and will there or won't there be a charge, which will be an individual conversation with every pharmacy and every patient. I expect that there probably will be a charge for them all because that's what the patient advocacy groups are telling us. And it's a very labour intensive service and there is a cost to providing it. But the medicines that are identified as risk medicines for the patients, those medicines may continue to be supplied on a weekly basis. And patients, without being specific about what anyone's on the radio, people need to talk to the local pharmacist to see what medicines am I on that are dangerous or that I'm at risk on, and do I need to have them dispensed multiple times a month, weekly, or can I take 1 month's supply at a time? And do I need one of these blister packs or not? And that's just a conversation people have to have privately with each of their pharmacists.
I think that's a really important point you make too about potentially forgetting which medicine is which and kind of an over-reliance there. Because they can all look the same, really. And if some of these, one is one of the stronger ones or one where there's a greater risk with taking the wrong dose of it, you can get sort of into a false sense of security there.
You absolutely do, and monitored dosage systems do. I suppose the posh word for it is disempower patients, but really what it does is patients become less familiar with the names of the medicines they're on. They just know they take 6 white tablets in the morning and 3 yellow tablets in the afternoon and whatever in the evening, but they can't tell you what they are, whereas when they have the list of the boxes at home, patients tend to be more knowledgeable about what they're actually on. And there is an element of over-reliance on compliance things, which are convenience aids, and people become less aware of what they're actually taking.
Yeah, I'm thrusting this on you a little bit so you can bat it away if you wish, Tom, but we've learned that the government's cost-benefit analysis meant that we didn't go for the boosted flu jab. Now we're using the one that's not boosted because the numbers didn't add up, and we're seeing effectively enough flu patients attending hospitals to fill 2 acute hospitals. Any view in relation to that as an administrator, as someone who administers it?
Well, the only thing I can say that I can't comment on the cost base because I wasn't part of the pharmacoeconomic analysis, but I will say you're absolutely correct. The volume of flu that we're seeing on a daily basis now is rising hugely. I saw a report yesterday from the IMO saying they need about 1,000 beds nationally for flu alone, and I saw a report in the north of Ireland, I think it was saying that the number of flu cases had risen 50% in 2 weeks. I am seeing anecdotally a massive rise in the number of children with flu symptoms. So the only thing I'd say is whatever vaccines are available, they are highly effective and safe, and I would encourage people to make sure they get the vaccine. I can't comment on the pharmacoeconomic principles of the state, unfortunately.
All right, listen, thank you very much indeed for that. And effectively, what the situation is decisions are made at some point, and a decision was made not to give this enhanced flu jab to over 65. So the Health Service Executive did not offer, as I mentioned, a enhanced influenza vaccine for people over 65. They're just given the standard vaccine instead. So it's called an adjuvanted vaccine. It includes an ingredient called an adjuvant that increases the immune response compared with the standard vaccine. So a HIQVA report last year estimated that switching to adjuvanted vaccine for people over 65 years and older rather than the standard flu vaccine may be the best use of resources, but they did a value option. The best value option, they said, would depend on the price the HSE would need to pay for each type of vaccine, and these prices are confidential. But in the course of all of this, it was decided that there wasn't the cost benefit to have this enhanced flu vaccine, so we're just getting the standard one. So far, 9 deaths attributed to flu have been recorded, 4 of those under 65. And it's like back in the day with COVID, you're not dying necessarily, God rest them, but you're not dying necessarily from flu. You're dying from often comorbidity that's aggravated, co-issues that are aggravated by it. Okay, we have a listener here. Hello, Caroline. What's this lady's name? The caller? It's okay, just a comment. Okay. A caller says, I'm blind and it's very hard for me to give up my blister pack. I just found out about this on Friday. Now it will cost me extra money that I didn't have. €20 for one, and I get 4 in a month. Now, have you spoken to your pharmacist, listener, just to be on the safe side? Because you heard the advice from Tom there, and I'm not sure, obviously yours is a very specific situation, and there's not I'm not sure if there's a blanket charge across everyone's circumstance. So if you have, maybe you can get back in touch with us. Did you contact your pharmacist, and is this the price that they gave you? Just so I have a better understanding of that going forward.
Chanel, Flowerbomb, Lancôme, Giorgio Armani, Paco Rabanne. Where else but at McGee's Chemist, Letterkenny, this Christmas. Sponsors of today's 9 till noon show.
Hi, my name is Maggie. I'm from Letterkenny. My best advice for baking is to always use the freshest and best quality ingredients in all of your dishes. That's why I only use Philadelphia cream cheese, the original, in my homemade strawberry cheesecake.
Join Maggie and the thousands of other star bakers who use Philadelphia cream cheese for all your baking needs. The best friend in everyone's fridge. You've got a friend in Philly.
It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas, and at Home Store & More, we've everything you'll need to make merry for sure. From twinkling lights and festive decor to cozy throws, we've got it and more. Choose from our extensive range of half-price Christmas tree lights to light up your home blue or bright or glowing warm white. And a Christmas tree, or maybe even 2, will make your home feel even more right. Enjoy Christmas. Visit us in-store, shop online at homestoreandmore.ie. Home Store & More. A happy home.
The Water Stewardship Programme helped us reduce our water waste by half and make real savings too.
When Blossom and Berry signed up to the Water Stewardship Programme from Uisce Éireann, they tapped into bigger savings. The programme provides Irish businesses with ways to reduce their water bills at no extra cost. Register now for this 60-minute online course at water.ie. Uisce Éireann. delivering water services for Ireland.
Discover your perfect festive look at Evolve Clothing this Christmas. From casual wear to suits, streetwear, and a standout footwear collection. We've got it all. Call into us at Letterkenny Retail Park and step into holiday style today.
Hi, Marty Morrissey here. I'm delighted to tell you that the Marty Party is returning to Calpe in Spain next year, from October 1st to October 8th. Johnny Logan will be joined by fellow Eurovision winners Niamh Kavanagh, Paul Harrington and Linda Martin. Also with us will be Sean Kane, the Whistling Donkeys, Honor and the wonderful Tommy Fleming. Book now on email by contacting Deirdre at CollesterTravel.com or phone her at 085 753 9038. The Marty Party, your ideal Christmas present.
If you're out doing some Christmas shopping in Letterkenny and the hunger hits, why not pull into Charlie's? There's no point in going from shop to shop when all you can think of is tucking into a nice fish and chip, dipping some chicken tenders in ketchup, or just a hot cuppa with maybe a wee treat on the side. So step out of the hustle and bustle this Christmas and step into Charlie's on Pierce Road, Letterkenny.
086 60 25,000. That's the WhatsApp and text number. 086 60 25,000. Or give us a call on 074 91 25,000. It is the 9 till noon show. Right. Let me see. We are joined on the programme now by Declan Power, who's a defence analyst. Good morning, Declan.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for joining us. Right. Now, the state's being urged to treat last Monday's drone sighting as a wake-up call. Now, for those who may have missed this, because it kind of broke late in the day, Declan, what exactly did we witness?
What happened was drones, I think up to 4 in number, were swarming around the naval vessel, the L.E. William Butler Yeats. And that was an occurrence not long after President Zelensky's aircraft had landed in Dublin Airport. So these drones had incurred into a no-fly zone area. And as such, the Naval Service would have been within their rights to have engaged with the drones and shot them down. But at that stage, they were no longer a direct threat to President Zelensky, and it was unclear as to what exactly they were doing. And I suppose rather sensibly, the captain of the L.E. William Butler Yeats gave no orders to shoot them down, but to observe. And if they had become a threat to the ship's company or the ship, I'm sure he probably would have taken the necessary action. However, since this has pointed out that there are significant inadequacies in Ireland's national security architecture with regards to protecting our needs, our interests and our people in light of what can be described as a form of hybrid warfare. And hybrid warfare refers to hostile incidents that do not meet the typical definition of an act of war. They're not a direct attack, but they stop short of that, and it's uncertain as to what their intent is. So it's been problematic, not just for us, but for our partners and allies in Europe,
Was it rather,
as people would have seen.
Yeah, was it rather fortuitous that these were no longer seen as a threat and didn't have to be engaged? I mean, is it very clear? Would it be the LE that would take these things down? Do they have the capability to do so? Would it be some other arm of national security? Like, I'm just wondering if they were designed and actually were to take out Zelensky, for an example, or to interfere with the flight of his plane. Do we have a plan of action? Do we have the wherewithal to negate these threats?
Well, we do, but it's not. They're not. We don't have the range of options that we should have. We should be able to have a range that we don't have to go from 0 to 60 into deliberate belligerent action. And in a situation like this, it shows you how limited our state is with regards to these kinds of things. The naval vessels had various weapon systems, including 20mm cannon, that they could have used line of sight to shoot those drones down. But if we had electronic countermeasures, it's a more effective and safer method that interferes with the signal of the drone and the operator. And these have systems like that are in use with Dublin Airport to prevent drones incurring into its its area of responsibility and interfering with safe operation of aircraft. In addition, though, I would argue that if we just focus on drones alone, that's not the answer to the problem. If a rogue state like Russia wanted to interfere with the safe operation of aircraft or just our conduct of the European presidency summits, if they were to launch drone attacks or drone swarming at a time of a cyber attack, along with the campaign of disinformation online, that could be significantly difficult for our state to contain against.
Yeah, and chuck in the cutting of a data cable there, for instance, as well, if you wanted to.
Well, indeed. But what I've described are all very low level, easy to operate matters. You would throw in the cutting of either a data cable or an undersea interconnector, and then you're talking about some severe hardship for this country. I could just take an interconnector. 80% of our energy needs come through one of the interconnectors down from Scotland. If that's severed, that would take approximately 6 months probably to repair, and we would be looking at rolling power cuts in this country and extreme hardship for people, as we saw during Stormy Owen.
Yeah, and I presume, Declan, you know, there are Russian vessels and either on top of the water or on the water. They know where everything is and who's reliant on what and what impact it might have. You know, we'd be naive to think otherwise. They would, I presume, already have formulated some sort of a plan if they wanted to go down that route.
Yes, you're quite right. I mean, it's widely accepted within the Western intelligence community that the Russians have mapped out the locations of cables and interconnectors, not just on the Irish Sea and between Ireland and Britain, but elsewhere around Western Europe, and particularly in the Nordic states. However, on the positive side, it's more difficult than one would think to engage in an actionable and positive outcome of sabotage against those kinds of things without drawing attention to yourself. However, the question is, and part of the reason that the Russians have been doing what they've been doing, it's not just the simple, World War II is in the past. Modern warfare it's starting to present as something that is a mixture of what, traditional kinetic operations and things that make it difficult for a country to react for political reasons or for geopolitical or legal reasons. So in the Irish case, they're rubbing a raw spot as to what are the jurisdictional responsibilities, what are the political restraints. So a country like Ireland, a country like Britain, we have very different postures when it comes to defence and security, different viewpoints. But we do, this is a key, I would argue this is where the rubber meets the road. Ireland, more so than any other European Union or European country, has to start to live in the world we're in rather than the world they might like to think we live in. We don't have the luxury of thinking that we can stay separate from the realities of what's happening. Even if we wanted to, even those people who say things like neutrality is our best form of defence, and that it served us well in the past, I disagree on both accounts.
You can't you can't adopt a policy where you're politically clearly not neutral, and even to the point, actually, we are effectively becoming one of the key anti-Russian stroke European cheerleaders, and we're only going to see more of that with the presidency next year. So, you can't have it both ways. You can't sort of try and be the face of something and then not even know how you might deal with drones, because that's naive. But it doesn't mean we have to join a European army either. I presume there's some balance can be struck there. Declan?
Absolutely. And nobody's looking for us to join the European army.
I'm speaking to those that might think that we're trying to, yourself, there'll be people listening that think this conversation is about laying the groundwork for that.
Could I just finish on one point that's both hopeful and practical? We can learn lessons from our near neighbours, the Nordics, for example. Long before Sweden and Finland joined NATO, they had an arrangement called the Nordic Defence Cooperation System. And the Swedes, the Finns, the Danes and the Norwegians, some of whom were in NATO, some of whom weren't, some of whom were in the EU, some weren't, they all were able to come together in a system of cooperation and share defence assets and combine towards national security needs. We could easily do the same thing. We could arrange a bilateral or a multilateral system, including the Nordics and the French under the banner of the European Union, because Britain has now signed a Defence and Security Memorandum of Understanding with the European Union, for us to enhance our security and defence process and to normalise it, and to work with neighbours where they can plug gaps that we technologically can't. And we can contribute to that system as well, particularly when we get the radar system in place. We'll have intelligence that we'll be able to contribute to. And that acts as a deterrent. Yeah. And it's purely defensive, and it doesn't require us to get involved in foreign overseas adventures or wars elsewhere.
Declan, one very final question. Where are these drones likely to have taken off from and landed? We don't have that information. Maybe this new radar system might allow that, but where are they likely to have lifted off and landed?
I think it's highly likely that they were dispersed from a vessel in the Irish Sea, and that they were assisted with onshore visual observation assistance. So it would be much more difficult to keep something like that a secret if it was being launched from within Ireland. The investigation being launched by both Garda National Intelligence and the Irish Military Intelligence Service will probably get to the bottom of that, because they will have assistance from the UK and from within the European Union on that. And there were a number of vessels that were acting in a suspicious way in the Irish Sea that are considered to be connected to the Russian Shadow Fleet. It's following the pattern of what happened with the Danes, with the Poles, and with other parts of Europe with regards to drone swarming. And I think collectively the answer will come from within a pan-European technological and operational response to that, which we need to be part of.
Declan, thanks for all your time. Look after yourself. Declan Power there, who is a defence analyst. Again, that's another story that kind of emerged towards the weekend, and I didn't really get a chance to talk about it. And there you are. That is that. Right, very shortly, we're going to be crossing to the border as An Garda Síochána and the PSNI launch their Christmas and New Year road safety campaign. We'll have audio from that, of course. Donna Marie Doherty, our journalist, is there. We'll be hooking up with her to see what's going on, and she'll be back with some interviews as well a little later on today. A caller says, wow, it sounds almost like we're an absolute joke of a country, says a listener. That's completely unable to defend itself while its population continues to whine about any attempt at building our defences up and so-called neutrality. Again, there's, we can do different stuff. We don't have to go all in. Morning, Greg. The sighting of drones is good news for this government to push for getting rid of our triple lock, and God knows what will follow after that. Thank you. Again, that's why I think it's important to have these conversations, because, maybe that's, if you're opposed to the triple lock, you're in favour of the triple lock, maybe these are the types of things that would be used as a strong argument to get rid of it. And it's important we have the conversation now and we understand it so that you, if it ever comes to having to make a decision on it, can do so. You've just heard from a defence analyst there saying we can do stuff. Doesn't mean we have to join a European army or what have you, but we can do stuff to protect our skies, etc. So there is a grey area. It's not always black and white.
The 9 till noon show with McGee's Chemist, Main Street, Letterkenny, offering a great range of digital cameras and binoculars for Christmas. McGee's, the photographic experts, where the best costs less.
Are you okay, Cherry? You look like you're in a right flap.
Christmas is nearly here and I've still got loads of bits to get. I'll never sort it in time.
Chill out, it's okay. At Very, you can order up to 10 p.m. on the 16th of December and get home delivery. Now have another mince pie and put your feet up.
All the gifts for Christmas Day, plus ways to pay that work your way. Shop gifts today. Very. Let's make it sparkle. For Christmas delivery in stock, small items only. Standard delivery €2.99.
Don't know if you know Alison Pat, late 40s, couple of kids, been together 17 years. Never married, of course, but that's not a problem. Until something happens, and suddenly words like unmarried, inheritance, and substantial tax bill enter the equation. You never need proper estate planning. Until you do. That's why the experienced team at McElhenney & Associates are here to help. Find us online or call 074 917 5989. McElhenney & Associates, Solicitors, Stranraer.
Who's making something wonderful at Lidl this year?
Hi, I'm David Brett from Oak Park. We pride ourselves on supplying award-winning hams to Lidl each Christmas. We select Bord Bia quality assured Irish pork. We naturally smoke them using beechwood chips.
Oak Park's Bord Bia approved ham joints from $9.99. Lidl, more to value.
Indulge yourself with friends or a loved one at the Spa at Orchids at the Holyrood Hotel in Bundoran. A midweek or weekend spa break is the perfect way to escape from life for a while. Take a leisurely walk along the Atlantic coast. Enjoy a dip in our private pool, a plunge in our Canadian hot tub, and treatments of your choice before dining in one of the Holyrood Hotel's acclaimed restaurants. The Spa at Orchids. Book now at holyroodhotel.com.
Are you worried about trees on your property? Northwest Forestry Services Ballybuffet are fully insured and have over 40 years experience in dangerous tree removal, tree felling, surgery and stump grinding. For peace of mind, call Northwest Forest Services Ballybuffet for a no obligation quotation on 913233.
Highland Radio weather updates with McElhenney's. Find Christmas inspiration for everyone, from top beauty gifts to perfect last-minute ideas. Visit us in Ballybuffet to explore the full range, or shop online anytime at mcelhenneys.com.
So a mix of scattered showers and sunny spells today. More persistent cloud will build from the south later in the day. Temperatures 8 to 10 degrees with moderate to fresh southwesterly winds backing southeasterly and easing towards evening. Now, our journalist Donna Marie Doherty is on the border in Bridgend, or at Bridgend. Donna Marie, good morning to you.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, yes, it's fine. Come here. This is an event we see every year and at different times through the year. What's exactly happening here?
So today the PFNI and Garda Síochána have come together to put out their appeal that they want to make sure that everybody has each member of their family around the table at Christmas. So it's their annual Christmas Road Safety Appeal. They're already a weekend, and they're essentially saying, you know, make sure that you have your family around you. In Ireland alone this year, there's been 168 road deaths, and 10 of those have been in our own county here in Donegal. So that figure of 10 there is from the 30th of November from the RSA. So really, it's a case of let's keep it at that. It's 10 too much already.
Yeah, and it's a high-profile one, isn't it? Because we're looking over your shoulder there. There's lots of traffic. The Gardaí, the PSNI there, and it's clear that they're using this, high-vis opportunity to try and get that strong message out there. And presumably both forces with specific enforcement operations over the festive period.
Yeah. So you can see here their checkpoint here, and then just at the other side of the camera here, the PSNI are just directly on the other side of the border. And I suppose that's the sort of a visual message. They said that there is going to be more checkpoints, but even if you feel as though you're not seeing it, they're saying that they have a lot of unmarked cars out as well, so you can be rest assured that that is out there. What they're saying is specifically the PSNI have their Fatal 5 and Garda Síochána have their Fatal 4. The big one is drinking under the influence of either drugs and being on your phone. They're saying that those are the two that they're really, really stressful, and speed obviously as well. And what they're asking people is don't do it yourself. But if you know someone in your life who has a tendency, they'll have one and they'll be like, it's all right, I'll just drive home. It's only a 10-minute drive. Don't show up for them after the fact. Show up for them now whenever they're still here.
Yeah, it's a strong message too. And we talk an awful lot about those headline figures, 168 people having very sadly lost their lives, but many, many more suffering, serious injury, life-changing injuries, a blow to the head that can change someone's ability to remember or their personality or what have you. So whatever we can do to try and eliminate road traffic collisions, I suppose we just have to take this collective responsibility, Donna Marie.
Exactly. I always think about whenever they say serious but not life-threatening, yes, you can live without your arm or your leg, but it's going to be a lot more difficult to do so. They also were stressing the importance of the element of this. So, they want to totally mitigate that idea of you're getting chased on one side of the border that you can cross over and you'll scot-free. They're saying that they work together every day, but just coming up now, especially to this festive period, to really to hone that home. And Superintendent Kelly again was saying, that whenever there is a road tragedy, communities come together as they should, and you often see guards of honour of clubs and societies. But to make that effort, especially now, to stress, we'll have our Christmas parties and everything coming up. Don't show up afterwards, and that will really will come after home. And they don't want to come knocking on anyone's door on the night of Christmas to say that you've lost your loved one, or that your loved one's in hospital in a really, really critical condition.
Yeah, and I've spoken to too many guards and too many families. One group knocking that door and the others opening it. It's exactly what happens. It's exactly what happens.
Oh, exactly.
It's not just
and
an
we
advert.
had
Go ahead.
No, we had the chief inspector, head of the road safety operations there, Celeste Simpson, and she was saying that during this campaign last year, they made detections of nearly 6,000 checkpoints or sobriety tests, and that was failed us by the start of the year.
Yeah.
And this year as well, they've had 50 fatalities on the roads in Northern Ireland, which for 6 counties is quite a large number.
Okay, Donna Marie, listen, thank you very much for that. We'll hear the interviews with the Gardaí and the PSNI later on the news bulletins. Thank you. Look after yourself. That's our journalist, Donna Marie Doherty there. And I'm sure we'll have a pre-Christmas chat to the Gardaí, certainly to the Gardaí, maybe the PSNI, just to hammer that home. Because I don't know, when you listen to us talk about things like that, if it sounds like, oh, would you ever stop talking about this? But unfortunately, every turnaround, a life is being lost on our roads. And wouldn't it be completely remiss of us if we didn't use the platform to try and get that message? Caroline, how long is left on the lines now, just to be sure, just so we know? So we're keeping them running as long as we can. Okay, so David James, Sean Quinn are going to be in studio with me a little later on. The Trombola is going to be in with us a little later on, because all of your numbers, if you've entered our massive Christmas cash and car draw, all of your names associated with a number effectively are in the draw drum. There is still an opportunity for you to get your name in there, and this is one of the last shouts for you right now. I'll just run through what's up for grabs. And the reason I'm doing this so much today is just because it's your last chance to get in all the draws, right? And listen, there's still a great opportunity, but this is a real window of opportunity. If you've got €15 cash to spare, that's great. Use it, have a bit of fun with it. You could be a winner. And if you have 50, you get 5 tickets. They're a tenner each. And we have €1,000 to give away today. We'll give someone's going to be $1,000 between now and 12 noon. And there's a grand a day between now and when we give the car away, which is a Renault, a beautiful Renault Symbios worth over €35,000. So to be in every draw, get in touch with us right now. Get on the website, highlandradio.com, perfectly safe and secure. Or if you want to give us a call in 074 91 25,000, 074 91 25,000. If you're giving us a call, just be conscious that sometimes your bank will look for you to approve a transaction. So just have that in your mind so you're ready to go. And hopefully we'll get everyone sorted. I'm sure we will. That big draw with David and Sean and myself coming up between now and 12 o'clock. Someone's going to win a grant. Just to remind you one more time as well, you don't have to answer your phone. So if you are maybe on your way into a meeting and you're thinking, well, if they call me, I won't know and then I won't win. No, you win if your number comes out of the hat, so to speak. Read the blister packs. Home help only allowed to assist patients with medication from blister packs. I'm going to have to get some clarity in relation to that to see if that's a diktat or just one person's experience, but definitely going to have to check into that. Most people know what each tablet is for, of course, but we're not always interested in what's most people. It's sometimes the more vulnerable that we're looking to try and look after. Religion in school. I hope we keep our religion in our schools and people don't like it. Leave our country. Well, some of the biggest advocates of getting rid of religion from school aren't people that have come here. They're people working in the schools or the parents of other children, by the way, just in case someone has you convinced that there's people coming in from outside of Ireland trying to get religion out of the school. All the calls I'm hearing are from people within the country, if you know what I mean. The teachers' unions, who aren't, they're not refugees, right? The teachers' unions are the biggest advocates of this to some extent. I'll just double check that, but I believe that to be the case. Other groups of children, families that are non-denominational. It's not who I think you're implying it is. But anyway, I hope we keep our religion in our schools and people that don't like it leave our country, as if we were in theirs, we'd abide by their laws. I think it's a disgrace and hopefully it won't come to pass. And it's time our political parties help keep our country as Irish for the Irish people. I'm sick of others telling us what to do in our wee island. Again, just check who's actually calling for it. You might be surprised.
Fill your stocking this Christmas from all the great gift ideas at McGee's Chemist Letterkenny, sponsors of today's 9 till noon show. See mcgees.ie or like McGee's on Facebook for a chance to win some great prizes.
Come and enjoy the brand new menus at the Water's Edge Rathmullen. Now open 7 days a week from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Treat yourself to the freshly prepared dishes made with the best local produce in our stunning waterfront setting. Booking advisable on 07498 91352 or via the Water's Edge Hotel Rathmullen on Facebook.
With an ESB Network smart meter, you're in control. Track your daily, weekly and monthly electricity usage so you can choose the right plan for your home. Smart meters help all of us make smarter energy choices, so we can work together for Ireland's cleaner electric future. Sign up to a free ESB Networks online account today and see how your smart meter can work for you. ESB Networks, energising your everything.
'Twas the countdown to Christmas and all through the house, everyone wishing for a National Trust Day out. But to where you ask, well, tell you we will. Adventures await, pure joy, sheer thrill. Rowallan Gardens Yuletide Market returns with Mount Stewart's festive trail, great family fun. For a Georgian Christmas, it's Castle Ward, and the Argery's Twilight Market is one to look toward. So wrap up warm and you can rely. For great Christmas fun, search National Trust NI.
At Super Value with real rewards, get Oyster Bay New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc wine case only €50 and Corona Extra 18 beer bottle box only $21.09. Also get half price on fresh Irish pork loin roast. Check your real rewards app for vouchers and make it a Christmas with a difference at Super Value. Please drink responsibly.
Introducing Flow for Men, my new fragrance collection of products created to keep you feeling fresh and looking sharp. The ideal gift for the man in your life. Find Flow in pharmacies nationwide or online at flowbybo.com. Start every day with confidence.
Christmas just got even bigger at Highland Radio. Not only could you win a brand new Renault Symbioz Techno worth over €35,000, but from December 8th to 19th, we're giving away a grand a day. If you've already bought your ticket, you're automatically in. If you haven't, now's the time to get your ticket at highlandradio.com.
Yes, so in a recent survey by the Irish National Teachers Organisation, 77% of teachers said schools should have no responsibility at all for preparing children for the sacraments. So that's what they think. Okay, it's 11 o'clock, time to get a news update, and it's over to Ryan Brawley. Morning, Ryan.
Thanks, Greg. Good morning. A driver who had been banned from the roads has been charged to court after Gardaí in Letterkenny found him to be driving whilst 9 times over the legal alcohol limit. This happened on Saturday night after they failed to remain at the scene of a collision involving another vehicle in the town. The disqualified driver was arrested on suspicion of drink driving, having failed multiple breath tests. Gardaí are investigating a definite line of inquiry into a house fire in County Offaly on Saturday evening. 2 people died in the fire, 60-year-old Mary Holt and 4-year-old Tag Farrell, and a second woman in her 50s is in hospital with serious injuries. The investigation suggests the arson attack may be drugs related. Justice Minister Jim O'Callaghan has confirmed Gardaí are following this line of inquiry as part of the ongoing murder investigation. €4.6 million of funding from the EU's Connecting Europe Facility Digital Fund to develop digital technologies has been granted to Atlantic Technological University and Vodafone Ireland. This funding will be used for new online and on-campus apprenticeship courses for engineering and construction students, with the initiative being piloted in Donegal. A status orange wind warning has been issued for Donegal as Storm Bram prepares to make landfall. The warning is valid tomorrow from 10 a.m. until 6 p.m, with Clare, Limerick, Galway, Leitrim, Mayo and Sligo falling under the same warning. Donegal County Council says there is a possibility of flooding in low-lying coastal areas, especially during high tide, wave overtopping, difficult travel conditions, debris and loose objects displaced. They say outdoor events may also be impacted by the weather. And Garda Síochána and the Police Service of Northern Ireland have launched their annual joint festive road safety appeal in Bridgend this morning. To date this year, 168 people have lost their lives in road traffic collisions on roads in the Republic of Ireland and 50 people in Northern Ireland. The campaign has been launched with a focus on the dangers of driving under the influence of alcohol and the devastating loss of life and serious injuries it can cause. That's all from Newsroom for now. We'll be back with headlines at 12 o'clock.
Thanks, Ryan.
Smart employers choose One for All. Reward your staff tax-free now up to €1,500 with gift cards that can be spent directly in-store and online with thousands of retailers on thousands of brands. Give cards physically or digitally, it's gifting made simple. Order One for All gift cards now at any post office or online at onpost.com/business gifting. Terms and conditions apply. The One for All gift card is issued by GVS Prepaid Europe Limited and regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
Now we're joined on the programme by the Director of On Green On Theatre in Letterkenny, Patricia McBride. Hi, Patricia.
Morning, Greg. How are you?
Good to have you on the show. How are you keeping?
I'm good, thanks.
All right,
Great.
doesn't happen too
Thanks.
often, but progress sometimes comes at a little bit of a price. And the theatre is closing, or has closed, until the new year for renovation works. This, I presume, has been in the planning for quite some time.
That's right, yeah, it's 5 years in the planning. We received a grant from the Department of Culture, Communications and Sport back in 2021. So the process of getting to this point where the builders are actually on site today has taken a bit of time. Just the tendering process for the architect-led team, the tendering for the builder, just it takes a lot of time. So we're delighted to be here now and making these renovations to the theatre.
There's a mixture of benefits here. It should become a smoother experience for those attending the theatre, but also a better space for the creatives.
Yes, that's right. I mean, there's two main elements to the project. So in terms of our customer experience, we're redesigning our box office counter, which currently doesn't meet standards of accessibility. So we will now have a wheelchair accessible counter for customers, but it also means that we have the potential then to employ someone who is a wheelchair user. And the box office itself will be closed in with glass on two sides, so it'll be a better experience for staff. Currently, when we host events in our foyer, which we do often, we have a lot of launches and different meetings there. It means that staff will be able to use the phones more freely and will be able to hear customers on the telephone without the interference from the background noise.
Hello?
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Yeah, of course. And listen, I mean, obviously the building was built at a time. It's fantastic to see it becoming more accessible, not just for actually the public, but also potentially for staff too, which I think is fantastic. The second part of this, more beneficial to the performers, would you say?
Yes, absolutely. So the upper foyer in our theatre, which is currently a very underused space, and anyone who's familiar with the theatre will know that there's kind of three big voids. There's two big gaps at the window, and there's like a central space. It's a design feature, but it has made that space quite difficult to use. So the plan now is that we will fill those voids in. We will make a studio space there. It'll be a workshop space that creative people can use, that our youth theatre can use. Currently, our youth theatre are in a very small room, and there's 15 children plus a facilitator in each class, so it's quite crowded in there. So they'll have a much better space to work. And for artists who are coming to the theatre, really the only space that they can use, especially if they're doing dance or movement, is the stage. And as you know, the stage is very, very busy, so it's hard to carve out time for people to do that kind of development work and rehearsals. So the new space will have like a fully sprung floor. It'll be able to be used as a very intimate studio space for 50 to 60 people to attend a performance there, and we can use that for new work, for poetry readings, things that we would find difficult to put into our main space. We wouldn't be a very friendly space for that kind of very intimate work and new work.
Yeah, of course, because certain work, it suits a smaller audience sometimes as well, or if you want to be a little bit more creative in terms of audience interaction and what have you. So that's on the first floor, is it? In behind, effectively, where the sound men and women might be.
Yes,
yeah,
again,
which is great. Yeah, because it is. I see the logic of that actually, because there's a fantastic downstairs space that's kind of almost like a duplicate of downstairs, where it can be, if I'm phrasing it correctly, which it can be far better utilized. It's a brilliant idea.
That's right. In terms of the kind of template of the theatre floor plan, it's the same space as downstairs, but it's currently got these 3 voids in it, which eats into the space and makes it difficult to use. I mean, the other big benefit of the work that we're doing is that it will make the theatre much more, I suppose, energy efficient and environmentally friendly. Currently, we have a lot of heat loss through those gaps and through the windows. So we'll be in a position where we're able to actually monitor the heating on both levels. That will have kind of discrete heating controls for both sides of for the upper and lower foyer.
Yep. So just by the way, if you would know, the Wellness Cafe usually meets there on a Thursday. They're going to meet in the vestry in Letterkenny Town Park just while these works are ongoing. And if you're looking to secure something from the box office, I can't run through all the days here because there's a lot of days between now and the end of the year. But you can check it out online, I'm sure. Generally speaking, it's open Monday 9:30 to 5. Really is the rule of thumb, except Saturdays and Sundays. Yeah, pretty much that's when it is, right up until the 21st. Hey, this is it's a pretty narrow closure window for all you're doing.
Yes.
Sweating a bit, no?
The builder's under a lot of pressure and keeps telling me that it's the worst possible time to do things because everybody wants things finished by the end of the year. But it's very difficult for us to find a window to close the theatre because we have over 200 performances a year. We're a very, very busy space. So yes, we've cleared 6 weeks here in the calendar for the works to happen. So yeah, quite pressurised.
Brilliant. And an official reopening to look forward to, or something along those lines, I'm sure, because it's another great thing. All right, Patricia, listen, thanks for that.
Thanks, Greg. Just to say we are reopening on the 30th of January and it's the Furies farewell tour, so we did not want to miss out on that. So yeah, we'll be back in business for then.
All right, thanks so very much indeed. I really do appreciate your time. Patricia McBride there, Director of On Grianon Theatre in Letterkenny, closed yesterday for 6 weeks, and some exciting developments there. It's always nice when things get a facelift or freshened up, I think. And for the creative people out there too, I'm sure it'll be a great advantage for them. A caller says, read the bridge in Letterkenny. The extra bridge in Letterkenny was proposed over 40 years ago, not 20. The planning is complete long ago and should start next year ahead of the 10T roads, then connected to them. I use the main Letterkenny to Churchill Road several times a day and night. The white lines in the middle of the road are a disgrace. Sporadic lines here and there. With these new car headlights, you need the lines more than ever. The yellow lines in the inside parts are equally as bad. Thanks, Greg. Thanks for your comment. It's appreciated. The new lights, every car, and also not just the new lights, but the ones that are stuck in there as well. Very bright indeed. I'm told the crib at the square in Letterkenny usually goes up on the 8th of December. Now, that's just someone throwing a date out there, so that's today, effectively. So it would ordinarily not be there until today. Whether it appears or not, we shall see. Footpath, Jack Morey talking about traffic management on the Casey Road, but the road between the Maharan-Chur crossroads and Marion Park has no footpath and services hundreds of houses and yet never gets a mention. Back to the issue of medication. If doctors had a book of all the tablets in it with pictures, it could make it a lot handier to show them what you're taking. There should be a picture book in a dispensary and the doctors. I don't think that would sort of get rid of the fact that some of them look quite similar. And I can see where Tom Murray was coming from in that, you know, if you trusted this book and you thought, well, that looks like the one I'm supposed to be taking, you know, you might take the wrong tablet. So that could become sort of like a false safety net too, because a lot of them look the same. And all the manufacturers aren't necessarily going to change all of the machinery to make them all incredibly distinctive too. So it's not a bad idea, but if you introduce it and it still creates confusion, someone's on the hook for that too, which could be probably problematic. On the issue of bikes, I just want to draw attention to a problem we're having at home. Northern Ireland motorbikes flying on the road just outside my door. The noise and the speed they're doing is dangerous to the young kids playing outside, but also upsetting all the livestock on the farm. I see them pass through the sheep in the road and don't even slow down. I reported to the guards, but by the time they get here, they're gone. Shocking behaviour and very dangerous. I don't know where that is or how common that is, but there you go. On the issue of religion in schools, I hope people keep the religion in their homes and place of worship where it belongs, and sure hope it gets out of schools. And the government need to remind people the abuses of the Church of England on this land, and then once they were the abuses of the Catholic Church. Religion, this listener believes, has done nothing but tie this country down and rob it blind for centuries. Back to the road. Speaking of road collisions, I was driving to Strabane last Wednesday and I was on the speed limit of 100 kilometres not far away from Ballyholy Farm, and a young fella passed me like I was sitting still. He was in a Northern Ireland Reg navy blue Golf GTI and was easily going 150. It was also a solid line on the road approaching a corner. Reducing speed limits will not have any effect on young fellas like that. He'll end up wrapping himself around a tree someday and everyone will be heartbroken about it. But if he continues to drive like an idiot, the inevitable will happen. I hope he slows down and I hope no harm comes from him. But in that situation that you described, it could be a family of 6 travelling in the opposite direction that he hits and not a tree. And the consequences could be very severe for people other than himself. And, you know, that's the I mean, you can say you're individually responsible for what you do and what might come from that, but none of it impacts on others. Greg, your support for defence and to portray a situation where we should give up our neutrality, giving airtime to help drive the light end of the wedge to help America and Israel to get us involved in a European army. Literally quite opposite of what I said. And what I said would come in. This is exactly what I said would come in. I said that we are portrayed as not a neutral country. I'm not responsible for what Micheál Martin says. I'm not responsible for Micheál Martin cheerleading Europe, or I'm not responsible for Micheál Martin's strong words against Russia whilst he's hosting Vladimir Zelensky. I'm merely observing that clearly we're not neutral, right? So if anyone thinks we have any sense of neutrality, politically we're not neutral. And I actually says we're actually not only just not neutral, we are some of the biggest cheerleaders in Europe now in relation to conflicts, not trying to negotiate peace or facilitate peace, but to send 150 million euro to Ukraine, to be critical of Russia, and so on and so forth. So we are clearly not politically neutral. Also in that conversation, we talked about the fact that we need to have a conversation now so we can talk about things like drone attacks, which will happen, but put in plans, like our expert was saying, that doesn't involve having to get involved in a big fund or a European army or get rid of the triple lock. He gave the perfect example of countries in the north of Europe, some in NATO, some not in Europe, that came together to defend themselves against this type of inevitable attack into the future. So unfortunately, I respect your view, but you only partially listened. And you literally just heard what you wanted to hear and not what I said, or in fact, in fairness to our contributor, what he said either.
The county's #1 talk show, The 9 till Noon Show on Highland Radio.
Think outside the box with your photos this Christmas for canvas prints, Instablocks, mugs and photo books at mcgee's.ie. McGee's Chemist Letterkenny, sponsors of today's 9 till Noon Show.
Christmas is in the air and Cadbury Secret Santa is back. If you would like to send a free chocolate bar to someone special, then look out for the special Cadbury Secret Santa posters in and around Donegal. Or search for Cadbury Secret Santa to find out more. 18 plus. Free service on selected products while stocks last until December 21st. For full terms and conditions, visit www.cadbury.ie.
Do you know Claire Clothing Letterkenny has moved to 54 Upper Main Street? right beside Brian McCormick. And we are now exclusive stockists of Bugatti women's wear at Claire Clothing, Upper Main Street, Letterkenny.
Ah, I see your future. Smooth roads, silent drives. You're starting 2026 in style, behind the wheel of a brand new Kia. I see Kia EV3, all new EV4 and EV5, new EV6 and EV9, 0% finance available, free home charger and a chance to win €10,000 exclusive to iMotors.
We can't predict the future, but we can help you build it. Your future looks electric. Terms and conditions apply. iMotors, the fearless generation.
The White Handkerchief, a critically acclaimed stage production. Now, a brand new revival. Experience it at the Millennium Forum from Friday the 23rd of January until Sunday the 1st of February. We must remember. We must grieve. We must speak. millenniumforum.co.uk.
Who's making something wonderful at Lidl this year?
Hi, I'm David Brett from Oak Park. We pride ourselves on supplying award-winning hams to Lidl each Christmas. We select Bord Bia quality assured Irish pork. We naturally smoke them using beechwood chips.
Oak Park's Bord Bia approved ham joints from $9.99. Lidl, more to value.
Highland Radio Time Checks brought to you by EirGrid, the operator and developer of Ireland's electricity grid. EirGrid, powering up communities, powering up Ireland. The time is
11:18. Now, a recent survey found that 3 in 4 workers believe bullying is a problem in the Irish workplace, while nearly the same proportion say they've witnessed or personally experienced harassment at work. Joanne Foley's recruitment manager at Matrix Recruitment, which commissioned this survey. Joanne talks to us now. Hi, Joanne.
Good morning, Greg. How are you?
Good. You know, I think as we have this conversation, and I'll get you to dig in a little bit into the findings, there'll be people will recognise what we're talking about here. I think this type of behaviour, this type of activity is quite common in the workplace. Sometimes it's very obvious and sometimes it's less obvious that it's happening. But I have a feeling this conversation will resonate with many, Joanne.
Yes, indeed. So this survey, it's an annual survey that we carry out here in Matrix Recruitment to understand the real experiences of workers across Ireland. And this year, 2 key elements of it that stood out to us immediately was the fact of how widespread bullying is in the workplace, and also the worrying increase in the far-right sentiment creeping into some workplaces also.
Yep. So that's what I was going to ask you too. When we talk about sort of bullying or harassment, we do have headlines really under what we're talking about here, the various types.
Yes, so it was quite specific, quite personal and quite serious. So they were very specific in the types of bullying they were experiencing. So they gave examples of things like unfair criticism in front of their colleagues, being humiliated in a meeting, passive-aggressive remarks being made, verbal abuse, being harassed maybe via email or various online apps, and then also physical intimidation. And 50% of those who experienced bullying also said that they experienced sexual harassment in the workplace.
Do we have a breakdown by sex of that harassment, female versus male?
The survey didn't actually look at that, kind of per gender, but it was on a whole that male and female can both experience bullying. So I think that's important to note that. Yeah.
A high rate of people observe it as well. So I'm not saying those who witness. Sorry, I'll come back to that in a second. In terms of, you talked about extreme views. I've heard talk about this before, and it's the kind of thing I think they'll probably tell you guys, but might not raise it in the workplace. Almost 50% of people, 46% of people witnessed a colleague openly promoting extremist or nationalist views.
Yeah, so that was of the, say, quarter of workers then who noticed this rise in the far-right sentiment. Then that was broken down into, what does that actually mean? What were they actually noticing there that they were, I suppose, considering to be this far-right view? So, almost 60%, in fact, noticed an increase in discriminatory jokes and remarks. And then after that, then there were people, kind of promoting these extremist views as well. Then also it was people, companies nowadays are, rightly putting in diversity and inclusion policies. So people were noticing maybe a little bit of pushback against those this year. And also then the spread of kind of misinformation, conspiracy theories as well. So these were the types of behaviours, I suppose, that were being noticed in the workplace.
What message does a survey like this send or should send to, managers, line managers, CEOs, business owners, small, medium, large, whatever size it might be? Because, this is not going to go away without some sort of intervention, I'd imagine. And you need a strong policy in place too, I'd imagine.
Absolutely. The message, I think, to employers from this is very clear. And exactly what you said there, Greg, as well. This applies to all. Our survey was, a nationwide survey. So it applies whether it's rural or urban. This does not just apply, say, to large cities. It doesn't just apply to large companies, SMEs in the regions. It applies to all. And the message to employers is very clear. First of all, you need to make sure that you have, updated policies on bullying, discrimination, all of that, online behaviours, and make sure that your staff read and understand them and that they are actually implemented, that they're not just there, that they're being implemented. There needs to be then as well, a very safe and clear reporting procedure there for people to go through, if they are witnessing any of these types of behaviours and that they need to raise them. And then also, following on from that they feel supported if they do raise it. And that was something that did come up, that people said, when they raised a formal complaint, almost half said that they didn't feel supported then after raising the complaint. So that's key. So it really is, I suppose, the ultimate message really is around culture, and that's for management and the leadership team. It trickles down from there. So maybe your management team, maybe they need updating, maybe they need training on this, but it's to create that kind of inclusive, safe environment. Everybody deserves to work in such
also too, maybe they're sympathetic to some of the stuff that's going on as well, particularly I think when it comes to sort of ideology and what have you. So, a company needs to weed that out as well.
Absolutely. It needs to be zero tolerance in the workplace, and you need to make sure that your culture of your organisation is safe for all, because if you don't, first of all, people will leave. You have 30% of people leaving because they're feeling, bullied or harassed. So, in such a tight labour market, you really don't need, to have such a high turnover rate due to things that can be prevented. So it's very, very important for retention, and it's very important for everybody to feel safe and included and respected in work.
All right, listen, thank you for that. Joanne Foley, Recruitment Manager at Matrix Recruitment. What's your experience in the workplace like? Let me know. 086 60 25,000 or give us a call on 074 91 25,000. Right. Your 5-minute warning now. We are going to be making our first draw for €1,000 very shortly. You do have a window to get in. Go on to our website, highlandradio.com. We are giving €1,000 away today, then across shows here on Highland Radio for the next 10 working days, in inverted commas. You know what I mean, don't you? And then we're going to give you we're going to give you a brand new 261 Renault Symbioz worth over 35k. That's our main Christmas draw. That's on this show just before Christmas. If you want to be in all 11 draws, get onto the website highlandradio.com or give us a call here on 07491 25,000. We might have to call you back, right? But we'll ensure that anyone who rings us, we will call you back and make sure you're in that draw before we make that draw. But get on it really, really quickly.
Hugo Boss, Tom Ford, Dior, Marc Jacobs and Carolina Herrera. Find all the biggest names in perfume and aftershave this Christmas at McGee's Chemist Letterkenny, sponsors of today's 9 till noon show.
Darren knows these roads. He knows every turn, every tree, every person's house. He knows when he wants to put his foot down. But here's something he doesn't know. He doesn't know that Jim is searching for his phone and has taken his eye off the road, just around the corner ahead. Darren doesn't know this, but they're both about to find out very quickly. Even if you know the road, you don't know what's coming. Say no to speeding. A message from the Road Safety Authority. Visit rsa.ie.
Maybe you're finally on a date again, 6 months after your divorce. Or maybe you and your better half are wondering whether a cuddle could be more than a cuddle. Or perhaps you'd like to tell a woman you're absolutely mad about that you don't feel like it tonight. There are lots of times and places where we need to say what we want and what we don't want. Whatever the moment, have the consent conversation.
A message from Cuan, a Government of Ireland agency.
Mike Denver with guests Ray Lynham, Claudia Buckley and Jack Keogh in concert at Jackson's Hotel Ballybuffet on Thursday, February 5th. Tickets on sale now at hotel reception and ticketmaster.ie. That's Mike Denver and guests in concert at Jackson's Hotel Ballybuffet on Thursday, February 5th. The perfect Christmas gift.
Make a splash this new year with Aura Swim Academy Letterkenny. Book your child's swimming lessons now for January 2026 and you could win a family holiday worth €3,500. But hurry! Places are limited and the draw closes December 21st. Visit auraleisure.ie/swim. No purchase necessary to enter. Other T's and C's apply.
Are you feeling stressed, in pain, or in need of a reset? Imagine a place where gentle healing vibrations, light and sound gently wash over you, nurturing both your body and mind, melting away tension and easing pain. This is possible at Beyond Light Therapy, designed to support deep relaxation, renewal, and your body's natural ability to heal. People report a sense of calm, improved mood, mental clarity, and renewed energy. At Beyond Light Therapy, where health begins, experience the first 60-unit energy enhancement system on the planet. Call us today to begin your journey.
Take the guesswork out of gifting this Christmas. Give your loved ones hundreds of brands to choose from with the McElhinney's gift card or digital e-gift card. Available from just €20. Easy, convenient, local. Find all you need to make Christmas magic at McElhinney's.
Right, James Maguire from Letterkenny joins me on the show now. Hi, James.
Hey, how are you?
Good to have you with us. Right, now, we are talking about As the Crow Flies documentary. It follows your journey, and it started your journey, that's the focus of this documentary, really, following a very serious incident in Dublin in 2019.
Yeah, so it's not just my journey. Sorry, it's a group of lads that kind of went out to France. The six of us were part of this team called Team On again. So it's all the mentality of kind of like do your best together, and then kind of like just a reflection within the documentary is a little bit on kind of why I decided to do the run, why we decided to raise money for men's mental health, and kind of decided to kind of like take on this huge challenge as a team, like.
You went through it medically, didn't you, in 2019?
Yeah, so in 2019, kind of a bit about my story and why I kind of did it with the guys was in 2019, I had a double brain injury, which resulted in a bleeding swelling. So the left side of my brain. And yeah, just kind of went through months of rehab and everything. So it's amazing now, like 7 years later, I can kind of come on and I'm able to kind of tell a story and be able to take on such a huge challenge.
How did then you hook up with the other guys to take part in this? Like, how did you come across each other?
So the actual event that we took part in is called the Speed Project. So it's an organization of elite runners that kind of wanted to test the narrative of traditional runs. So they kind of wanted to push the limits of endurance and speed. So the race that we did was from Chamonix to Marseille, and it was a 440-kilometer run. And yeah, you kind of had to do it in as fast as you could as well, which was crazy. And the kind of team came about was a good friend of mine, David Gahan. He's the captain of Team Man again, and he reached out, I think it was to anywhere between 50 to 100 accounts, anyone who was related to this, because he really wanted to represent the team and again their kind of thing of like doing your best together and kind of pushing your limits. And we were fortunate enough then to get a link and we were able to sign up for it. And then he kind of went through a bit of search to see the kind of best runners he could kind of find within who would be up for a huge challenge like this. And yeah, it was me. So the team he kind of put together was David himself, me, James Maguire, with Ben Kringle, Frank Rafferty, Conor Maguire, and Owen Duffy. So we all kind of come from each all around Ireland, and we all kind of like now living in Dublin. So
in relation to the documentary and what we'll get to see, I presume, you know, you can't have to show it all, don't you? Yeah, we're talking about a horrific situation for you in 2019, and the fact that you're looking and sounding and feeling great now. There's an awful lot in between, not just for you, but for the other guys as well.
Yeah, it is. It's huge. It's we kind of go to the why we chose kind of men's mental health in November to raise money for as well, is that the race actually shows a true reflection on that kind of part of recovery, not just testing yourself on a physical level, but the fact that the race, you know, we're running all the way into the night, and like we'd only have a couple of minutes sleep during the race as well. So it really tones on you from a mental point of view as well. So to be able to, in the documentary, we really kind of show this and highlight it. Each one of us have our own kind of stories. We have like our own kind of like hero moments in the documentary. The lads do amazing, and then the two guys that kind of put the whole documentary together and filmed this was Joe Langren and Harry O'Toole, and what they were able to capture and the story they told was just amazing.
And it is amazing and it's great. A fantastic achievement. I still no idea why people put themselves through this. But I suppose, as it turns out, it's for our entertainment and their own personal journey. But still, you know, it's mad. And whilst you're very conscious of you know, the mental health element of it and raising awareness, and also too, I'm sure we'll hear plenty about your gratitude to Bowman staff, because you know, you defied their expectations, and on reflection, they've probably defied those around you and their expectations in getting you back together to be, you know, as you are now, in such great form.
Yeah, like in terms of being able to put great work with Beaumont, I worked on a few fundraisers with them. One in particular that we worked on was one called the Kitchen of Hope. So it was great. We were able to put together a cooking demonstration that raised money, and it was actually my uncle, who's chef on TV, Nevin Maguire, who's able to support in that too, and able to bring awareness and raise money towards it. And yeah, going back to your point there, the Beaumont the staff there in Beaumont, I sing their praises anytime anyone says anything about my accent or asks me about it. Without them, I wouldn't be in the kind of position I am today and be able to do what I can do, being able to live a life of complete normality after the accident that I went through.
Yeah. Now, the documentary has been released on YouTube, and what I'd suggest people do is, you know, it's great if you can watch things on your phone and stuff, but get it up on your smart TV or your Fire Stick. You might have that. Open the app and watch it as it was meant to be watched as well, because it's a remarkable story with our own local interest here in James Maguire. And if you enjoy it, or even if you don't watch it, but you can donate as well too. And we have that link. It's a Movember link. We're going to link that on our Facebook page as well to make it as easy as possible. But throw it up on your bigger screen there and get the full experience. What was it like watching it back, James, for you? Because obviously, you know, this was your lived experience, but also, you know, I presume there comes a point whereby you don't necessarily notice the cameras all of the time either, right? So watching this back, you know, what made the cut, what was left on the floor, what was it like for you?
Yeah, kind of as you said there, watching back on it yesterday. So we did a private premiere just for friends and family in Dublin, and watching it there with my family, being able to see a lot of it reflected on my experience through my accident and coming back into running. Like after my accident, I had to learn how to walk and speak again. It was a real reset for me. So being able to see the accomplishments that we did as a team, to have the guys there just in huge support of me, and huge support, within each other, with the team. And again, like you see like 6 lads who were like, some of us didn't even meet each other before we started training for this, come together, and now we're like incredible friends. And I can't speak highly of them. I think they're so amazing, and the fact that how we were able to come together and achieve such an incredible result, it all shows this within the documentary. And I would like anyone who not even an interest in running. You don't even need to have an interest in running to watch it. It's such a great documentary on just community and spirit within a group of guys. It is pretty great.
And I mean, obviously, there's that collective journey. I'm just curious. In you completed the Dublin Marathon, the Dublin City Marathon yourself in October. Crossing the finishing line there, was that almost like the culmination of your personal journey, having to learn to walk again, learn to run again, but then off your own steam to take on one of the biggest challenges you can take on in the mainstream? How significant was that day for you, crossing the finishing line in October?
It was a day of a lot of emotion. I had me family, and I had a lot of friends that came down to support. I'm part of an incredible run group here in Dublin called Mile Activity, and they were able to support everyone going. For me personally, being able to go through, I set a huge goal out for myself halfway through the year of trying to go for a sub 3-hour marathon for my first marathon. And it was a lot of training, a lot of dedication, but I just knew through what I came through and what I'm capable of myself, I was like, I can do it. And I was so fortunate to cross the finish line at 2 hours and 55 minutes.
That's ridiculous.
So I got myself straight.
That's absolutely ridiculous. Well done.
In a great way. In
a great way, right? But I was setting that up whereby finishing the marathon was the achievement, not doing it in under 3 blooming hours. But anyway, listen, obviously you made us something special. Thanks so much. We look forward to watching it. It's the documentary out now. It's As the Crow Flies.
It's out this evening at 7:30.
Oh, you got the premiere, right? Okay.
The premiere.
And it's on the Team and Again YouTube channel. I'm right in that?
Yeah, so if you just search Team and Again, there's no spaces there on YouTube. Also, if they want to go onto our social media on Instagram, so it's just the exact same. So it's Team and Again on Instagram. There's plenty of footage there, and there'll be plenty of notifications to let people know when the documentary's live.
Well done to you. Thanks so much for joining us. It's been lovely talking to you. Look after yourself. That's James Maguire from Letterkenny's parents from Illistrin. He's living in Dublin now, but he came through an awful injury in 2019, defied the medical odds, and also, I suppose, in terms of his performance on the road, defied the odds, more generally speaking. Okay, if you want to watch the draw for €1,000, David James is in studio with us. Sean will be joining us shortly. Get in on right now. Go to YouTube, Highland Radio Ireland, or on our Facebook pages, and you can see live if you are the winner. That's all coming up really shortly.
The 9 till noon show is brought to you by McGee's Chemist, Main Street, Letterkenny, with all your perfume and aftershave presents this Christmas delivered to your door, or order online and collect in store. Visit mcgees.ie.
At Centra, we've got amazing Santa savers from now until the big man arrives. Like Centra Fresh Hours strip loin steaks 2-pack only €9. Maltesers box 3 10-gram only €5. And Finca La Barca Rioja Reserva only €10. Stock up with Centra this Christmas. Centra. Live every day. Enjoy alcohol sensibly.
I had problems with my knees for about 7-8 years. I think I'd give Kingsbridge 5 stars just because of the support and help that they gave me before and after the surgery. I was a public patient and the HSE reimbursed the cost.
Republic of Ireland residents can get rapid access to cross-border surgeries at Kingsbridge private hospitals in Belfast and Derry, with medical costs reimbursed by the HSE. Find out more at kingsbridgeprivatehospital.com/cross-border. Kingsbridge, your fast track to 5-star care. Terms and conditions apply.
Imagine sinking into a perfect comfort every night. At Restex Beds, we believe a better sleep means a better life. Choose from our vast range of quality mattresses and find the one that's perfect for you. Restex Beds, Mountaintop, Letterkenny. Leave the rest to us.
Running a business isn't easy, but accessing support should be.
The new National Enterprise Hub is the single source for all government support for your business. With over 180 supports in one place, it's easier than ever to find grants, advice, training and more. And don't worry about not knowing what you need. Our helpful team will guide you every step of the way. Visit neh.gov.ie to learn how we can help. The National Enterprise Hub. Support starts here, an initiative of the Government of Ireland.
Give the gift of comfort and hope to those who need it this Christmas with a Trócaire gift of change. Visit trócaire.org/gifts or call 1800 408 408 to buy a gift and change a life. Trócaire, together for a just world.
This Christmas, wear the magic of the Donegal crest. Try the new Donegal Hydra range. Tees, polos and fleece tops. Perfect gifts for every Donegal supporter this festive season. Brian McCormick Sports. In-store or online at bmcsports.ie. Kitting out Donegal since 1995.
Highland Radio weather updates with McElhinney's. Find Christmas inspiration for everyone, from top beauty gifts to perfect last-minute ideas. Visit us in Ballybuffet to explore the full range or shop online anytime at mcelhinneys.com.
So a mix of scattered showers, sunny spells today. More persistent cloud will build from the south later in the day. Temperatures 8 to 10 degrees with moderate to fresh southwesterly winds, backing southeasterly and easing. MEP Kieran Mullooly, an independent, joins me on the programme now. Good morning, Kieran. Thanks for your time.
Good morning, Greg. Good morning to you and your listeners.
Right, you are part of a group of cross-party and non-party Irish MEPs issuing a joint statement to the Irish government welcoming the GEA's work on demographic change and calling for coordinated national action to tackle rural depopulation. So break that down for me. What does that mean?
Greg, what this is centred on is depopulation. So many of your listeners are involved in GA clubs in County Donegal, or indeed maybe involved in school managements and parents committees, and you've seen the way population figures have gone down dramatically on the West Coast in recent times. The irony is, of course, that the population has gone up on the East Coast, particularly closer to Dublin. But in areas like Donegal, there have been many, many communities that have struggled with regard to football teams, fielding a team, perhaps even holding on to teachers at national school level, losing them in various situations. And the GA has come together now at national level to try and put forward an initiative on this. I have to compliment them. They have a good demographics officer there in Donegal, Michael Murphy. I presume it's not the footballer, but it is Michael Murphy who's in charge. But he's been doing with his colleagues in Croke Park. He's trying to get a national initiative from the government, from the GA itself, and indeed from the European Parliament. So we're all on the one page in terms of planning for the future and supporting communities to try and hold on to population.
Does our national development plan really align with that, though? Because there is a sense that it's designed to almost, some would argue, depopulate rural areas in terms of planning, in terms of investment, in terms of regional investment. You know, this sounds to me like it could be a bit of a talking shop if we don't actually recognise nationally that the National Development Plan really is promoting the depopulation rather than encouraging population growth in rural areas.
I think you've hit it on the nail, Greg. You're spot on. One of the issues we've called for is for the government of Ireland to rural-proof its policy for the future. What does that mean? That means effectively that when it comes to planning, when it comes to deciding we're going to have decentralisation in the future of government departments, that we take it seriously and we pick locations on the Western Seaboard that need government departments, that need repopulation, and that's something that has to be part of government policy. And you're quite right about housing in particular is a key area here. The government has just published a new initiative on housing. There's a new one coming from the European Parliament on the 16th of December. But I'd be one of the people who's been saying it means nothing unless it provides planning guidelines and support for people to be able to build their homes on the Western Seaboard, and particularly in rural areas where farmers own their own land and family members are being denied planning permission in some cases. So we need to see change in attitude towards that if we're going to support people, because that's the only way we're going to keep people at home. That's the only way we're going to get to 14 or 15 players on the team, if we're able to hold on to them in the local area, local community. And that's why we're calling on the Irish government to do that. But you know what also, Greg, there's another issue here for the GA itself, we've been speaking to the GAA, and sometimes they're quite passive. They say we run the hurling and the football. It's not our job to do this. Well, MEPs as a group of us have put it to them that it actually is your job too to engage at local level. We're saying to Donegal GAA, for instance, that you should be part of the PPN, the Public Participation Network in the county. You should be in there on the housing SPC at the county council level. You should be one of the policy makers, not just somebody standing by and complaining afterwards that houses weren't built in a parish or houses weren't built in a particular area. So it works both ways.
All right.
And I think the GAA are now prepared to move on that.
Yeah, we'll watch on with interest. Kieran, thank you very much for your time. That's MEP Kieran Mullally. Waiting with bated breath to see David James, because that means the draw's coming. But also it's David. How are you, David?
Morning, Greg. Good. How are you?
Doing fantastic. Before we get down to it, because you've been drafted in to do the draw, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So wrong, Mike. So we're going to be doing giving away €1,000 very, very shortly. Before I do, though, a mention of the big event tomorrow night. It's Highland Radio's Christmas concert at the Mount Ergel Hotel on Tuesday, the 9th of December. Now, obviously, we've all been keeping an eye on the weather forecast, and there are weather wind warnings in place, but they lapse well before the concert too, which is good. So it should be relatively dry and relatively calm by the time the doors open at 7 p.m. What's the show looking like?
Yeah, it's looking like a festive cracker, Greg, and delighted to be joined tomorrow night by so many of our great friends from the Irish country music family. We've got Derek Ryan joining us. We've got Mike Denver joining us. We've got Jerry Guthrie, Keith and Lorraine McDonald from the Show Band Show, and a fantastic tenor by the name of Des Willoughby. Des comes from County Waterford. He actually sang at our new employee Danny O'Carroll's dad's wedding.
Okay.
So there you go. He's a fine singer, and tomorrow night is set to be a great show. A lovely variety in the music that's going to be played over the few hours, and a huge crowd coming as well. And I think there's a handful of tickets remaining. If you want to come and join us, I would advise you to get them today. They probably won't be available tomorrow. You can get them from our website, highlandradio.com, or from the Mount Errigal reception.
We lots of people would have their favourites. You know, you mentioned Derek Ryan, Mike Denver, and the rest. There's something like that's fantastic too, but it is maybe people hadn't had an opportunity to see a tenor live, right?
Exactly.
There's something very, very special about that.
Especially at this time of year, Greg. Whenever you think about the great Christmas songs that can be delivered by a tenor, like "Oh Holy Night" and all those types of things. So I think for the time of year that it is, I think Des is going to be such a fantastic addition to the roster.
Yeah, indeed. So tomorrow night, David James and band, Derek Ryan, Mike Denver, Jerry Guthrie, Keith and Lorraine McDonald, Des Willoughby, and you. Tickets are available. A very limited number of tickets are available. You can get onto our website, highlandradio.com. Are they still available from the reception at the Mount Errigal?
There's a few down there.
Okay.
And just to remind people, although Highland concerts traditionally used to start at 8:30, this starts at 8 o'clock on the button. We started at 8 o'clock back in March for our birthday bash, and tomorrow night's the same, 8 o'clock sharp.
Right, are you ready to give someone a grand?
Absolutely, that's
right,
the best part of it all.
Go up and have a look. Right, we've got a special camera here because we just don't know if David James is a diddler yet, but I can see that his sleeves are completely clear.
And I'll just show the camera.
Yeah. Right, so listen, that thing's been spun many, many times, and David's given another couple of turns as well. Right, David, in you go. He's digging in deep, he's wiggling around, and he is pulling out a ticket.
Number is 9260.
9260. 9260. Okay, sit down there with that ticket now. 92. Let's just absolutely double check. 9260.
Yeah,
someone has just won a grand.
Do you know the way we're giving away a Reynolds Symbios?
Mm-hmm.
Well, whenever I was young, I used to think that Reynolds were made in Rafo. Because
Reynolds of Rafo.
You know the Reynolds of Rafo. I swear to God.
So there's bound to be other things like that. Actually, well, I've come unstuck with something like that before. Reynolds of Rafo.
Well, another thing that I used to do was whenever we were driving through Bridgend, I was always looking around and saying, "Where's all the bicycles? There are 9 million bicycles in Bridgend." Oh, God.
It's almost like a misheard lyrics feature, isn't it? Okay. Right. Now, is there a telephone line number here? No? Okay, we're going to just see what the crack is. We do have a name.
Okay.
And that person has one. They don't have to come on with us. But it wouldn't it be nice if we could reveal the news live on air?
It'd be lovely to get them on and lovely to give somebody €1,000, especially in the month of Christmas.
Right, so Renault aren't made in Rafo, but you can get your bum in the front seat or back seat or wherever of one still, by the way, because we've done one draw. There's still 9 1,000s to give away. You're giving yours away on Wednesday, is it?
I think it's
Or
Wednesday, yeah.
Wednesday.
So €1,000 every day for the next 2 weeks, Monday to Friday, working days as we'd call them.
Every time I say that, and you know, because you work weekends as a musician, right? Every time I say that, people say, I work Saturday and Sunday. I'm on Tuesday off, and they're right too. Is Abby there? Hi, Abby.
Hello,
Anne. Sorry, Anne. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Hi, this is Greg at Highland Radio with David James here. Do you know David James?
Just to see.
Hello, Anne.
No, just to see.
How are you?
It's good to have
good, thanks.
it's good to have you with us. Anne, did you buy a ticket for Highland Radio's big Christmas draw?
I did, yes.
Okay, well, David, we've some good news, haven't we?
And we've got some great news for you because you are the first winner of our €1,000 a day giveaway. Congratulations, Anne.
Well, thanks very much. Thanks very much.
So that's €1,000 in your back pocket heading into Christmas, Anne. Happy days.
Yeah. Right, thank you.
All right. What are you going to spend it on? Anything nice for yourself? Don't say home heating oil.
I think it was in Abby's name.
Oh, okay. Well, you're very honest because I didn't say that. So who's Abby?
Abby's my granddaughter.
And how old's Abby?
Abby's 20.
Oh, right. Okay. Wow. That's fantastic. That could be almost her year's car insurance for her there. So you're going to give her the grand?
Oh, yes. Her name, so she'll get it.
Oh, well done to you. I hope she looks after you now too, but I have a feeling that Granny looks after all her granny and her grandchildren and all that kind of stuff. Well, that's absolutely lovely, Anne.
Yeah, yes, right. Thanks very much.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Anne.
Right, thank you.
And
Yes,
pass on
Greg.
our best wishes. Pass on our best wishes to Abby. I'll be honest with you. I would have probably put the boys' names down, but if I'd have got a call, I don't think in that moment I could give them the 1,000. I think I'm going to have to pocket
You'd be greedy.
that.
Well, in fairness, Greg, it'll be hard for you to answer the call and chat to yourself on the radio.
You'd be surprised. I answered a scam call a little earlier on.
Did you?
Yes.
Class. That's lovely and well done. And of course, that ticket will go back into the draw now.
Yes, let's do it now. Go
Imagine
on.
Abby wins again tomorrow. Wouldn't that be some crack?
This is Sean Quinn's angle. He's convinced someone's going to win twice in a row. But anyway, it could happen. There's absolutely no doubt. Anne's back in, or Abby is back in there.
Great.
Anne's could come out, actually. Do you know what? It's much less likely, if people have bought 5 tickets, it's much less unlikely, for a double winner, actually. I often think of it singularly. Right, okay, very, very exciting. Well done to you, Anne. Well done to you, Abby. That's Anne McIver I was chatting to. 9260 was today's lucky winning ticket. There's another €1,000 to give away tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then the 5 days following, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then you can also be in with a chance of winning that fantastic car.
That's not made in Rafo.
That's not made in Rafo, but the people of Rafo are industrious. They could make it, but just on this occasion, Reynolds are too busy doing other great stuff, right?
Absolutely.
Right, and just to remind you one more time that the weather warnings that are in place tomorrow will have lapsed completely in time for our fantastic Christmas concert in the Mount Errigal Hotel. There are limited tickets still available, but effectively it is a packed house. Don't worry about that. You can go onto our website, highlandradio.com, give us a call here, or indeed the Mount Errigal Hotel reception. And it's an 8 o'clock sharp start. This is the new era, so things kick off. But you know what? People get home at a
In
nice
early,
time too.
out early, and people are working the next day or whatever. They're still home, and lots of the time the concert will be over probably around 10:45 or so.
All right, and just to let you know, in relation to the car draw, lines are open again. There's 9 cash draws remaining, and of course that car, buy online or call 074 91 25,000. What's the crack with, just while I have a minute, with Cavan in February?
Yeah. Cavan is booking up really fast, and that's looking like it's going to be a sellout again. So that is February.
And what goes on?
What we do is we leave here on the bank holiday Monday, which I think is the 2nd of February. Am I right in saying that? We leave here via our luxury coaches and we head down to the beautiful Slieve Russell. We get there, we stay for 3 nights. We give everyone their bed, their breakfast and their evening meal, and the food down there is first class. And then we have a lot of entertainment over the course of the 3 days.
Is this like, say for instance, if people don't like flying, right? You know the different events that happen in around the pool and all that kind of stuff, right? Is this like one far enough away that it feels like a trip, right? But close enough to home if you don't like flying?
1,000%.
It's the same kind of buzz, is it?
Yeah, hit the nail on the head. And because it's the Slieve Russell, it's such a nice hotel that it feels like you're away on a proper break. And that's exactly what it is. You know, we get there, we check in, we have our first evening meal, and then we have a dance on the first night. I'll be there with my band. And then we'll have late night entertainment in the bar. The next day we'll do something in the afternoon. We're not 100% sure what we'll do yet. And then we'll have a nice concert that night, and we'll have Dominic Kerwin, John McNichol, Owen Mack, Louise Morrissey, and there's lots more that I know I'm missing.
Trevor Lockery, Jimmy Buckley, Matt Levy, White Lightning.
Yep. And then on the final day, then what we're going to have, this is our first time to do this, we're going to have our gala evening meal.
Naked.
A nice gala dinner, completely in the nip.
Yeah, and, that's a fantastic
You very kindly offered to be special guest.
Cheap star.
And then, look, it's going to be a great few days.
Right. Okay, so again, you get that full experience that your friends have told you about, but if you don't like flying, or if you feel like being closer to home, you have it all there. Yeah. Right, thanks, David.
Thanks, Greg.
You're on air later. Look forward to that. Yeah. We're back with you tomorrow morning at 9